with one man. 2 decades later, it has grown to include the biggest names in sports entertainment.
Bruno Sammartino.
I can't mean Gene here.
The queen of extreme.
Have a nice day. And look at that Buddy Rogers strut.
I've always been the snake you should worry about.
Icons, legends, larger-than-life personalities who defined their time and redefined the future of WWE.
Nobody in the world can touch the road words.
You listen to me, you go to the top.
The boyhood dream has come true.
Superfly punch, 15 feet high. The spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever.
Tonight, we celebrate the class of 2016.
Big Boss Man is the law, is the order. One of the most entertaining characters in the history of the World Wrestling Entertainment, the Godfather.
I can be everybody, man or woman.
Nobody flies higher than the Freebirds. We were the originators of tag team wrestling and have made wrestling what it is today.
Journalist, television host, and warrior, the incomparable Joan London.
That wild cowboy, Stan the Lariat Hansen.
Snoop Mania is running wild, baby.
Snoop Digo double chisel for shizzle dizzle.
Without a doubt, the most popular athlete to ever compete on WCW.
This is Sting.
All have earned their spot in history, their right to stand with legends, and to inspire all that will follow.
And now, Mattel's Hall of Fame Elite Series action figures present the 2016 Hall of Fame induction ceremony. Welcome to the 2016 WWE Hall of Fame induction ceremony. And now to your host for the evening, WWE Hall of Famer Jerry the King Lawler.
Thank you so much. And welcome everyone to what I always say is my favorite night of the year, and I absolutely mean it. And tonight is going to be very special because we're in store for, well, we're going to be celebrating one of the most entertaining, charismatic, and eclectic group to ever enter the WWE Hall of Fame. I'm talking about from a prison guard to a legendary rapper to one of our female pioneers, all the way to an icon that a lot of people thought would never step foot in a WWE ring, much less in the WWE Hall of Fame. That's right. So let's get this thing started with a man who back during the Attitude Era was, without a doubt, my hero. I mean, he was my idol. I wanted to grow up to be just like this man, and believe me, I tried. Take a look.
He was that guy that, believed in him just by you heard him speak.
He brought such diversity in his colorful character, which is what you strive for.
When you have something as revolutionary as that, it changes sports entertainment.
You're my hero, Godfather!
I mean, the Godfather is a classic character in the history of WWE.
Is there any pimps up in this house?
He brought out, it's a party, it's fun. He had the colorful gear, the outfits.
I thought the Godfather's attire was very, very cool. He was very colorful and flamboyant.
Let me hear you say.
He
come out, got a massive pop because people knew his character, always have girls with him.
Now listen, man, you know me, you know what I am, right?
The Godfather's side job.
He was a conductor, right? He ran a certain train.
It's time, once again, for everybody to come aboard the...
Who's gonna boo hot chicks? Who's gonna boo a train of hot chicks?
I think people enjoyed it because he had so much energy. Do the splash in the corner.
No brakes! Oh! Man, what a head of steam! We have a new Intercontinental Champion, and he is...
Godfather's in the house. I want y'all to all give it up for Ice-T!
People gravitated towards Godfather because it was the Attitude Era and everything was edgy. Unconventional? Yes. Popular and profitable? Very.
I'm just telling you that tonight, the Godfather is going to be the most popular superstar here.
Pimpin' ain't easy, man. Pimpin' ain't easy, man.
Now, we had to promise our first inductors beer money just to get them to wear suits tonight. So would you please welcome JBL and Ron Simmons, the APA.
Wow. Well, partner, they've been asking for it.
Yes, they have.
And what better way to kick off the 2016 WWE Hall of Fame inductions than an APA reunion?
You want to kick off a party, you better invite the APA, and we'll bring who could have been a third member of the APA, and that is the Godfather, because the Attitude Era wasn't something that happened on Monday nights. The Attitude Era was me, Ron, and Godfather 7 nights a week. That's why it's so cool that we get to induct our dear friend, one of the toughest guys in the history of the business, one of the best guys in the history of the business. In the 1990s, he created a character.
Oh, that's why I got to stop your partner now. It wasn't a character for him, okay? It was real.
And don't forget the train. It was like Santa Claus every day.
Yeah. Ho, ho, ho. Yeah.
We spent so many thousands and thousands of miles riding with this guy. A lot of guys have to embellish their character to get on television. Godfather was such the real deal, he had to dumb his character down to get on television. I still have the munchies from riding with him from so long.
So do I. Yeah.
And the stories. You talk about Hall of Fame, these are some Hall of Fame stories. Most we can't tell. We can't tell the one about the time we caught Godfather. He was naked and he had the Intercontinental Championship belt on. And he was
Hey, no.
Family show. Sorry, apologize. But we can tell the one about the time we're going to WrestleMania and Godfather turned in and was actually going to drive through the window of a lobby that was.
Can't do it, man.
It's because he
can't do it. No, we're in it. Remember, we're in it.
We can't talk about the train.
Okay.
The train, Godfather's train, and how me and Ron used to help recruit the train. We had some of the hottest in the history of the world. These were smoking fire.
Stop it. No, listen, honey, if you're listening. He's making this up as we go along. None of this is true. What you trying to do, man? What's the matter with you?
Meredith, if you're watching, I was just kidding. We don't even know Godfather. They just ask us because.
Well, you know what?
I don't think we should tell any.
Let's stop right there.
Stories.
You know what? Let's change this up, man. But guess what, though? You know what? If we had to do it all over again, I don't think you or I could ask for a better partner as a third partner for us and to share the car with us and ride up and down the road the way we did than the Godfather. And to be standing here next to you, my best friend, and to induct another very good friend of ours, hey, it's quite an honor.
Yeah, and Ron, to stand here with you is so cool. And to be able to induct one of our best pals, because the Hall of Fame now has another character, because the Hall of Fame is pretty diversified. You've got dogs, warriors, dragons, kings. You've got gorillas, you got giants, you got hitmen, you got captains, you got cowboys, you got bodies, you got brains, you even got Briscoes.
And guess what? And now, we've got a pimp.
Yes, it ain't easy.
Right.
And yes, it is. It is our honor to induct in the 2016 to the WWE Hall of Fame our pal, the Godfather.
Yeah, how about that?
What's up, WWE Universe? Y'all ready to get this party started? It's time, once again, for everybody to come aboard the Hall Train. Man, that feels good. You people don't know how much I've missed you, man. Woo! Let me take all this in. I'd first like to start off by thanking my mom and dad. They're not here today. They are here, but they're at home in California watching on TV. I love you, Mom and Dad. Thank you for all your support, standing behind this crazy son of a gun, and give me all the guidance that I needed to get by. I want to thank all my kids that are here in the audience, my daughter Ashley, my son Corey, my son Chucky. Yeah, I got a lot. And my youngest son Ty. Oh yeah, I can't forget. You guys got to help me out here. My grandson is 7 years old today. So it's his birthday, but unfortunately he came all the way from Nevada and he's not feeling good. So would you please do me the honor and help me wish Isaiah a happy birthday. Happy birthday, Isaiah. Stand up, Isaiah, he's a little pimp. You know, there could have never, first of all, there'll never be another Godfather. But the Attitude Era, man, if you people weren't a part of that, go on the network and check it out, man, because there was nothing like it. I was doing some crazy, crazy, crazy stuff, and I've got to thank the powers to be in the WWE for allowing me to be myself and let all that craziness out there. As my friend Ron said, and John, that there's never been probably a character and a personal person as myself to be intertwined as me and the Godfather are. Me and the Godfather are the same person. That is Charles Wright. Well, let me see. I'm not really a pimp. Well, Cheetahs, Las Vegas, top. Let's leave that alone. but everything else I am with the Godfather. Just a beautiful time, man, and I want everybody here to know that I felt all the love that I was getting from you people, and believe me, the love was right back at you, man. I was having the time of my life, and I really wish that some of you people could see the Godfather in action now, and if you come to Vegas, you probably can. I'd love to come out here and tell some of the stories, but like John and Ron said, I'd get a lot of people in trouble. You come to Vegas and we'll chop it up, and I'll tell you some really good stories. Like I said, I'm not going to be out here long. I'm more of a party type of person. We'll let some of these other long-winded guys go. Like I said, loved you people. Thank you for all the love. If I could say anything to the young cats in the business, man, cherish your time here. It'll never come back, and you will have the time of your life right now. So enjoy it, enjoy it, enjoy it. And on that note, it's time, once again, for everybody to come aboard the... I love it, man. Thank you.
WWE is raising funds in support of Superstars for Hope, a global online auction to benefit the Boys and Girls Clubs of America. You could win unique opportunities to meet WWE superstars and divas, along with chances to mingle with celebrities and acquire exclusive memorabilia. For your chance to bid, go to CharityBuzz.com/WWE. Superstars for Hope. Bidding ends this Tuesday. Visit CharityBuzz.com/WWE to see all the once-in-a-lifetime experiences and memorabilia.
Of course, WrestleMania and the Hall of Fame here tonight are in the great state of Texas. Cheap pop, I like that. But you know, there's been a lot of bad men in this state because it's a big state. And there's been a lot of bad cowboys that came out of Texas. But our next inductee was one of the biggest and the baddest. Take a look.
I got a big fat wife and 9 kids at home, and I gotta feed them.
From Borger, Texas, it is that wild cowboy, Stan the Lariat Hansen.
With his trademark bull rope, leather vest, and a bad attitude, Stan Hansen burst onto the wrestling scene in 1973 under the tutelage of the legendary Funk wrestling family.
My latest protege, the man that I am really proud of.
Under the watchful eye of classy Freddie Blassie, Hansen skyrocketed to main event status in WWE.
I cannot believe the tactics of this man.
Hansen's underhanded tactics would become that of legend in 1976.
When I was a kid, I did not fear the Boogeyman. I did not fear King Kong. I did not fear Godzilla. I feared Stan Hansen. Why? Because he broke the neck of Bruno Sammartino. Bruno Sammartino.
Hansen was exiled from WWE for nearly 5 years.
And there's been an unwritten law to keep me out of this Northeast area.
Hansen would go on to capture championships in Japan, the AWA, and WCW.
I think he really made his niche in Japan.
Antonio Inoki against Stan Hansen.
He owned Japan.
He goes to work again on the giant Baba.
Stan ruled every federation he was in.
In 1985, Hansen struck gold, defeating Rick Martel for the AWA Heavyweight Championship.
Stan the Lariat Hansen
Hansen, the new champion of the AWA. I don't know what this means, but it can't be anything good.
The Bad Man from Borger, Texas, would go on to achieve fame in WCW, defeating Lex Luger for the United States Championship.
You beat Lex Luger, I want to shake your hand.
I ain't shaking your hand. I'm not shaking nobody's hand.
Even the silver screen got a taste of Hansen's no-nonsense style when he appeared in the 1989 classic, No Holds Barred.
Oh, no.
What about the rules? Last one standing wins. Just don't kill nobody. Them's the only rules.
I know the people out there don't like me, and I don't really care.
I'm not in a big ego rush. I'm not after all the bright lights and the little women.
Would you want to fight Stan Hansen?
I want to fight somebody.
He's the greatest cowboy wrestler of all time.
I could care less.
Stan was the character, and the character was Stan. Only Stan could have done it as well as he did.
And the lariat is back, and they're going to have to deal with it.
We are proud to welcome Stan Hansen into the 2016 class of the WWE Hall of Fame.
I'll tell you, his lariat is something else. If you don't believe it, you can check it out on the WWE Network. And, you know, on that note, let me just say this. I look around this capacity crowd tonight, and I'm just wondering if there's anyone in here who has not yet subscribed to the WWE Network. And if that's true, my question to you is, what are you waiting for, okay? All right, we're gonna get our next inductee out here right now, all right? And this guy may look friendly without his mask, but don't let that fool you. He was without a doubt one of the scariest men to ever step foot in a WWE ring. Ladies and gentlemen, to induct Stan Hansen, let's welcome Vader!
It's time! It's time! It's Vader time! Come on! Come on!
I'll tell you what, after looking at that video, I want to take my coat off in case Stan came out here with one of them famous lariats, because I got to be ready. Believe me, in my career, I've taken a few of those, and they don't feel good. Straight up. But in 1976, Stan Hansen, in Madison Square Garden, he broke Bruno Sammartino's neck. And that's just for starters. It began from there. Now, I met Stan back in 1985 in a small regional company called the AWA. And there was a lot of us, Big Scott Hall, Shawn Michaels, Curt Hennig, Larry Zbyszko. I can see a lot of faces out there that were there in 1985, and Stan was heading up the roster. Strength and power, two things you need to be a professional wrestler. You need to be an athlete of any kind, and Stan had plenty of both. Now, strength, you sit down on a bench and you extend your elbows. You bench press, you extend your elbows. And power, strength is needed in the sport of professional wrestling or any athletic endeavor, and we all know that. But let's face it, power is where you sell the tickets. Power is what brings a crowd like this together. Power is it, the bottom line. The ability to move from point A to B and deliver a blow. And boy, that's what that man could do. He'd take you out of your boots in 2 steps. And if you don't know what I mean, believe me, I've felt it. I've felt it, I've been there, I've done it.
cardiovascular conditioning. At one point in Stan's career, he had a heart rate in the 30s, 34, 36, 38, and at over 300 pounds, that's just not special, that's extreme. Which means at the 20-minute mark, if you're in the ring with Stan in his prime, guess what? That spells trouble, because he ain't gonna get tired. And if you are, you're in trouble, because as nice a man as he isn't real nice in the ring. You know, I've found that out on more than one occasion. A mentor and a friend, you couldn't find a better one. He'd coach you up. I remember talking to him, you know, long periods of time about what to do and how to do it, how to get the job done. I mean, he's just not a big man. He is a wrestler in every sense of the word. So I refuse to say that Stan Hansen was a good big man. He was a great wrestler and one of the best that's ever stepped into the squared circle. And that's the bottom line. And that's because I said so. So going from a mentor to a friend over the years has been a long time now. Finally teaming up with him in Japan as a tag team partner. I kind of went full circle. I started out here in America with the AWA, and again, you know, I'm looking at faces that I go back to in that time. Big Scott Hall, I remember getting off the, stand up. Okay, now sit down. Big Scott. He had a little apartment right next to the airport, and I can tell you, he saved me thousands of dollars sleeping on his floor, so thank you very much, brother. And I didn't ask, did I? Well, finally, teaming up in All Japan with Stan, we got together after going full circle. I mean, from Europe, throughout America, to Mexico, to Japan, back to Japan. Finally, I got to team up with Stan, and we created one of the best, one of the most intimidating tag teams I think there's ever been in the country of Japan, and we ran shot for quite a while. We were tag team champions for a company called All Japan Pro Wrestling and Giant Baba. As good of a mentor and as good of a friend he was a partner. And again, if you talk about wrestling, Stan Hansen was every bit of a wrestler in the purest sense of the word, the very definition of the word wrestler. Now, I know I'm not going to get out of here without telling this story. In fact, I've had numerous requests to tell the story of the Tokyo Dome story. We're talking 75, 80,000 people. And it was sold out, and Stan and I were tagged up in a 30-minute match, and it ended up going Broadway, which means we went the whole 30 minutes and beat the living, I don't know if I can say hell, but beat the living heck out of each other. And that's where, of course, the eye came out of my socket, out of its socket, and was on my cheek, and somehow we managed to get it back in, and we finished that match. And, well, but I got to tell you this Tokyo Dome story. Antonio Inoki, and you know, you don't talk to Antonio Inoki. He has that godlike status over in Japan, but he threw a buffer. He's telling me, you know what, you tell Vader I want that mask in the ring and I want that smoke to blow. I paid a lot of money for that mask and I want it in the ring. I don't care who he's fighting. I said, but no, Stan's not going to let me take that mask in the ring. There ain't no way. He's going to bust that thing up. I don't know what it was worth with the engine, but it was an expensive piece of equipment. Y'all know what I'm talking about, the Mastodon? Do you know what it is or not? Let me hear you. All right. So I got about halfway up them steps, and this thing weighs about 60, 70 pounds, and I got my fist in the helmet. And I'm looking for the rope because it's heavy, and I'm trying to balance myself. Well, you know, Stan can't see very good, and I'm not saying he's a bad guy because he's not, or I wouldn't be standing here. But he swung that rope, and he kind of, not being able to see, with his own words and by his own admission, I can't see past past the length of my arm, he swings that rope and he breaks my nose before I get in the ring. So I thought it might be a tough night. You get your nose broke before you get in the ring, and you know you're in for a tough night. But we kind of got in that ring, and Steve, you'll know this, that match didn't start like it was supposed to after that, right? You get hit in the face with a piece of steel, well, heck, you're gonna do what you gotta do. And the next thing I know, the lights went out in the Tokyo Dome. And you know, how is that possible? This place holds, what, 100,000 people if need be. It's a state-of-the-art facility. And the lights went out, and guess what? The lights didn't go out. What happened was I got the living you-know-what knocked out of me, and my eye was hanging on my cheek right about here. So that's the Stan Hansen I know. Now you're going to see this beautiful, smiling man come out here and talk to you and tell you how nice he is, but I know the truth firsthand. But I love him or I wouldn't be here. We shoved that eye back in, but you know what? It's just a fact. I've never been the same. You know, I haven't been able to talk the same. I haven't been able to think the same. My cognitive skills are not the same. So, in fact, I'm having a little trouble reading this. I'm going to put some glasses on here before I finish the speech, if you don't mind. So this is what my good buddy did to me back a few years ago, and I hope you appreciate what we had to go through back then. So, come on, you got to give it up for that. Let me hear it. Yeah. All right. There it is. Thank you very much. I looked long and hard for these, trust me. Now, this man, I'm proud and I'm honored to introduce him. He's a man in every sense of the word. He's a professional wrestler in every sense of the word. And there's a term, well, I don't know, there's an old announcer I know that used to say this. I'm not going to name his name, but he used to say that, you know, that this man could knock you out of your boots. And literally, that's exactly what he could do. Ladies and gentlemen, the next WWE Hall of Famer, it's my honor to introduce Stan the Man, the Lariat Hansen. Stand up for him. Come on, get on up.
Wow, 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 wow. There goes Leon. Everybody take notice, Leon is left. Let me tell you, Leon is quite a man. He's my type of man. Big, strong, fast, agile, and stiff as a board. You know, Leon was talking about what I'd done to him. After that match, we were back in the dressing room, and his eye was swelled up bigger than somebody's head almost, and my nose was completely red that it's never ever gone back. It's still red to this day from fighting Leon. But anyway, he says, you know, I got tickets for the Buster Douglas and Mike Tyson fight tomorrow in the Tokyo Dome. I'm staying, I'm going down there. I said, I'm getting my butt on a plane and I'm going home because there won't be any punches thrown harder than what was thrown in there tonight. And I'm sticking with that story because let me tell you, Leon's quite a man. But you know, first of all, it's a great honor to be out here, you know, really unexpected, not thinking about it at all. I appreciate, being involved in this class of 2016, all the great guys that are getting inducted. Wow, what a deal, man. What a great deal. All these guys well-deserved and everything, but, I want to start out by, thanking God for giving me a set of lungs and a set of legs so I could establish this kind of style that I developed. Without him giving me those great things, I never would be standing here today. He shortchanged me a little bit on my looks, but that's okay. I've come to, live with that part, but that's all right. And I also want to thank JBL. You know why? You bet, JBL. All these years I've been retired, he's kind of gone out and kept my name out there, Stan Hansen did this, and Stan Lariat did that, and everything. You know what, JBL, I appreciate you just mentioning my name. Thanks a lot. Well, there's 1,000 opponents that I would love to talk about because it's so important about the opponents. If you don't have an opponent, you're never going to be successful. You got to have somebody to fight. You got to have somebody out there that's going to give you a run for the money. And that's why opponents are so important to me and to everybody in this business. So, it comes down to the fact that we're all just there trying to take it and make it. And, it's, well, anyway, sorry, I got a little lost there, but I'm gonna start talking about what I really need to talk about. I want to talk about my wife, who knows all about it. Bruiser Brody once said, you know what? Yeah. Bruiser Brody said, if there's, two big, nasty, ugly guys like us, if we ever find a woman that will really fall in love with us, man, we got it made. Well, Brody and I both were lucky enough, blessed enough to find a woman like that. My wife's out there. She knows what I feel about her. I tell her every day, and I just appreciate her so very much. Also, my kids are out there, John, Paige, Sam, and Shaver. I appreciate y'all. Y'all have all gone independent routes from Daddy. You're not hanging on my coattails. You're out there making your own life, your own decisions, and I'm really proud of you. But I got to thank a number of people, and I'll get going here. I got to thank first and foremost Terry Funk. Terry Funk broke me in. You bet. Let's clap. Not only is he one of the great all-time wrestlers of all time and one of the great characters, but he was a mentor to me, but later on became quite an opponent for me over in Japan. And I just appreciate Terry and the whole Funk family for breaking me in. And during that time in Amarillo, there's a couple of guys that I have to mention. Moose Morawski and Carl von Steiger. These are two old-timers. They're still alive. They took this young green guy. They were in the main event one night, and then they were in the opening match with me the next. How fortunate is that for some dumb young green guy like me trying to, break into the business, get to wrestle with somebody like that? I appreciate those guys so much. And also, what a great talent was around that Amarillo at the time. Bob Backlund. Whoa! Probably the greatest athlete, I think. I think he's probably the best athlete that ever came down the pike in pro wrestling. And you know what? He He used to sleep in his car in Louisiana before he got to Amarillo because he couldn't afford a motel room. Later on, I went to Oklahoma and I had to sleep in a car. I don't know. I didn't learn much from that, did I? But Bob Backlund, yeah, what a champion he became, and what an honor it is, you know, to wrestle him in Madison Square Garden. Chavo Guerrero Jr., he was starving, teaching school, just like me. Chavo come from a wrestling family, but he was out trying to make a living at teaching. He's got his degree, but he couldn't make it. He came in and was around that area in Amarillo and learned, and he became had a great, great career. And Jumbo Teruta, who came right out of the Munich Olympics, and as a Greco-Roman, and he was there learning all sorts of things from the Dory and Terry and everybody, and he ended up becoming one of the great wrestlers ever in Japan. It's just, it's just great. It's great to be there with a young class of guys like that. But let me tell you, my trip to here all started about 15 blocks from here at the Sportatorium right here in Dallas. Yeah, you bet. Yeah, Fritz von Erich, God bless his soul. Red Bastien was the booker. What a class guy he was. And he booked me against Chief Peter Maiva. Whoa! The Big Island, the chief, man. Wow. You know, The Rock's granddaddy. Isn't that a great lineage for him? Yeah, I tell you, Chief Peter Maiva. But there was a 19-year-old kid from Montreal, Canada, that I ended up having to go 20, 30, 45-minute Broadways almost every night in the semifinal, and that was Rick Martel. I mean, a white meat, good-looking little baby face. Golly, but did he know how to fight? And he fought so hard and so good, and later on came a great champion, and I had the pleasure of working against him a number of places, Rick Martel. You know, one time, the bell rang and I charged Rick. He moved out of the way. He went in behind me and schoolboyed me, beat me, 1, 2, 3, right off the bat. 9 seconds. 9 seconds, Rick Martel beat me. I want to put that out there so everybody knows that Stan Hansen's done a few jobs. I've tried to pick them, but, sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. Anyway, my mama, every time she heard the name Rick Martel, she says, "Isn't that the kid that beat you in 9 seconds?" To her dying day, that's what that was her memory, and I appreciate Rick Martel, everything that, just a great talent. But there was an old timer there here in Dallas that had retired. His name was Mike Pedusas. And he was from Steubenville, Ohio, but he was really good friends with Bruno Sammartino. I know I've seen Bruno earlier, so I know he's here, but Bruno Sammartino. And he was good friends with him. And Mike called him and he said, "You know what? There's a kid down in Texas that might be a good opponent for you, Bruno." And there it is again. It's so important to find an opponent to wrestle. Well, Bruno called me on his recommendation, and then he called Vince Sr. and Vince Sr. ended up calling me on Bruno's recommendation. And all of a sudden, it's like a dream. Here I am one night in Knox City, Texas, my old hometown, at a spot show. And the next month, I'm in Madison Square Garden at the greatest arena in anywhere. You know, can you believe that? 25 years old, and there I am. You know, I wasn't nervous. You know, hey, I'd wrestled around Texas a little bit. You know, I wasn't nervous. I worked around Oklahoma a little bit. But that night, I guess maybe I was a little bit nervous because I picked up Bruno, slammed him on the back of his head, and broke his neck, and he's out for 4 months. I mean, wow. Talk about the air going out of me, out of Vince Sr., out of all the WWE and everything. And I'm sure Bruno too. But Bruno, the class guy that he is and was and is, to this day has never held that against me. And I appreciate that so much, Bruno, for that opportunity and with a great attitude. And every couple of months or so, I call Bruno and I tell him, thank you. Thanks a lot for giving me that opportunity. Yeah, Bruno Sammartino. Never forget him. You know, Vince Sr. booked me to Japan real quick. I was over there for New Japan and Antonio Inoki, and it was it was on that tour was two people that really taught me a lot, or influenced me, I should say. One was Tiger Jet Singh. He was a Indian, I think he's actually from Canada, but he had a unique style, and I looked at him and I said, that's the kind of style I want to develop. And that's Tiger Jet Singh. The other guy is Pete Roberts, a great junior heavyweight from Great Britain. And to this day, Pete Roberts ended up being my best friend in my life. I really appreciate old Pete Roberts, you know. You know, you know, I get caught up in a little bit of a wrestling war, but before that, Andre is coming to Japan, and he's being Andre the Giant. Man, let me tell you, I hope everybody hadn't forgot what a great guy he was and what a smart man he was. But anyway, Andre, you know, you can only have so many handicap matches. You can only wrestle against the top Japanese every once in a while. So, you know, he was looking for what? An opponent. And he heard I was getting pushed a little bit, and I was trying to fight him because I was stupid and dumb, and I didn't know I wasn't supposed to fight him. And all of a sudden, he hears the people, and he hears the people reacting, and he says, you know what? I'm going to take Stan Hansen, and he's going to be my opponent. And man, did we do some business, and we ended up having a match that everybody in Japan still talks about in that tennis stadium. And I just, I want to tell you that, you know, I owe my career in Japan to Andre the Giant. I got caught up in a wrestling war, and all of a sudden, all Japan and New Japan, they're fighting, they're trading talent and doing all this stuff. And finally, I end up making a deal with Giant Baba and All Japan, and I go over there, and on a handshake deal, I worked 26 years for Giant Baba. What a pleasure it was to work for him. And they had great talent already there. You know, they had talent. Of course, I had an opportunity to get hooked up with Brody again, my longtime partner. And let me tell you, I'm not bragging, but maybe I am, but me and Brody, we ran roughshod over Japan in the 80s. And a lot of it was all because we could just keep on going. Nobody could stay in there with the big 300-pounders. And that does sound a little braggadocious. I'm sure everybody fought us, you know. They didn't lay down for us, but Brody and I did. But the Funks were there. And then, of course, there's Jumbo and Tenyu, great talent guys. And then the younger generation, Misawa Kawada, Kobashi, all those guys. All of them just great talent, great opponents for me, all during the 90s, and it was awesome. Well, I've bored y'all enough, I'm sure, but let me tell you, there's a couple of things I want to say. I want to thank I want to thank the carpenters. That's an old term. You might have to go look it up. I want to thank all the carpenters in the pro wrestling business all the way back from the 60s to this day today. Those are the guys that are getting Stan Hansen and whoever it might be that's on the way to the main event. Those are the guys that get them ready to go up there and have success. This is to the carpenters. There's so many of them. And lastly, I just want to say what a pleasure, what an honor it is to be here in the state of Texas. And I got to say hi to all my buddies down at WRS in Waco, Texas. Remember this, you!
Oh my God! Shane O'Mac is here!
I want control of Monday Night Raw.
I have a song like a prodigal.
I'll give you what you want. As long as you have one match, one night. Your opponent is The Undertaker. It is my destiny to be in control. If Undertaker does not defeat Shane, then this WrestleMania will be The Undertaker's last.
The blood of your son.
Hell in a Cell
is going to be on your hands.
Well, our next inductee is also from Texas. As a matter of fact, she's from right here in Dallas. Let's take a look.
From Dallas, Texas, Jacqueline.
Jacqueline was the ultimate woman. She looks beautiful. She's like a real woman, but she will kick your ass.
She would tell everybody, put me against a guy, put me against a girl, I don't care. I'll beat any one of them you put in front of me. And she meant it.
During the early 90s, this Dallas native would begin her ascent to stardom by competing in the USWA promotion as Miss Texas.
Vicious a young lady in that ring as I've ever seen.
After winning several women's championships in USWA, she would explode onto the national scene in WCW as Jacqueline, bringing along a unique persona and physical nature previously unseen in sports entertainment.
You're gonna show her some respect, I can tell you that.
This Jacqueline is a tough customer.
This is the real deal. I can beat everybody, man or woman.
Jacqueline would capture the attention of WWE, who was aiming to rebuild its women's division during the height of the Monday Night War.
We really started to see women competitors again, and Jacqueline was in the forefront of building that.
She was one of those pioneers that really started to help the WWE evolve as far as women are concerned.
In September 1998, Jacqueline would make sports entertainment history by becoming the first African American to win the WWE Women's Championship.
She did it! Jacqueline's won the women's title!
Before her, there wasn't that representation of us.
Jackie let a whole lot of women, black kids, little black girls know that they could be the first in anything that they want to be if they put their mind to it.
She kind of recreated what a champion looks like. It just really helped open the doors for women of all backgrounds, sizes, colors, shapes. It's very inspiring to follow in her footsteps.
She is one of a kind. Tough, fearless, broke boundaries.
She is a reason why we call the ladies in the WWE divas. She's one of the originals.
WWE is honored to welcome Jacqueline into the WWE Hall of Fame, class of 2016.
Ladies and gentlemen, please put away any tables that you might see in the vicinity and give it up for our next inductors, the baddest tag team on the planet, the Dudley Boys.
I think the first thing that we want to say is it is great for us to be back home in the WWE universe. Absolutely. Tonight is a really, really cool night because it's so special for Jackie. I remember when Mark Carrano, the head of talent relations here in WWE, came up to me and Devon and he said, listen guys, we're inducting Jackie into the WWE Hall of Fame. We were really excited for her because she's been a friend of ours for a very long time. And then he went on to tell us, well, we asked her who she wanted to induct her, and she immediately said you guys. And we were speechless because we've always been really tight with Jackie, and being inducted is such a great honor. And to choose us, it was a really big deal. We've done a lot in the wrestling industry. We've both been very blessed, but inducting somebody into the WWE Hall of Fame is something that we have not done yet. So to be out here for Jackie to be in her hometown of Dallas, where she started. You know, like me and Devon were talking, like when they said, you know, you're gonna induct her, we started to say, well, what are we gonna say about Jackie? What can we say about Jackie? And then we thought that much like The Godfather, there's a lot of stories that we can't tell about Jackie. But the one word that came to mind was tough. When we think of Jackie, when fellow wrestlers think of Jackie, the word tough comes to mind. And I'm not talking tough for a woman, I'm just talking about a tough human being in general. I mean, tough like the fabulous Moolah and Mae Young tough.
Absolutely. I remember one time being in the ring with Jack.
You just say testify.
Sorry. You know, we said we weren't going to get any tables tonight, but WrestleMania might start early, and your behind may go through a table. As a matter of fact, I'm sick and tired. Get your own damn tables.
That was a good one. No. One of the biggest compliments you can pay to one of the women in our business is to call her one of the boys. And Jackie is and will always be to us and every single wrestler out there one of the boys.
Well, that is true in every aspect of the game, and one of those happens to be Jackie's probably one of the most cheapest persons I think I've ever met. She's the only one that can ride in the car with you, talk with you, see the sign that says toll booth up ahead about a mile away in mid-sentence and go. You turn around and Jackie is out cold snoring. You pay the toll booth, you go about a mile, and all of a sudden she's back in mid-sentence again.
Now it comes time to pay for the rental car, and you try to split. Hey, move over. Oh. You got to pay for the rental car, and it's like, Jackie, your percentage of the rental car is like $75. And she, Bub, Devon, yeah, I'll get you on the next loop. I forgot my wallet. So Jackie's cheating.
And that happened more times than you know. You know, Jackie, when I saw her the past couple of days, I told her, I said, Jackie, can you dance? And she said, of course I can. So she thought dancing meant just moving your 2 feet, and then I guess there's a new thing called dabbing. So Jackie, as soon as she sees me, she just, and I looked at her and I said, what are you doing? She goes, Devon, I'm dabbing. And I said, that don't look like what the kids are doing today. She goes, don't worry about it, I'm doing it. So I told her when she comes out here, she's gonna have to dab for the people of Dallas, Texas. But you know, on a serious note, Jackie has rode up and down the highway with us many a times. Jackie has been a very close friend to both of us. Not only that, but Jackie and my family have been extremely close over the years. You know, in this business, they say that you're gonna have only a selective few friends on one hand, and you'll have fingers left over. I'm happy to say that Jackie, in my opinion, and in Bubba's opinion, has one of those fingers and will be a friend for life. It is an honor and it is a privilege to be up here to induct the 2016 Hall of Fame. Ladies and gentlemen, I give to you Jackie Moore.
Wow, it's so great to be here. I am so honored to be getting inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame, baby. Thank you, I love you too. Let me tell you guys a little bit about how I got started. When I was a kid in Dallas, I used to watch wrestling on TV, and I was a big fan of the Von Erichs. Then one day, I saw an ad in the TV guide asking people interested in becoming a professional wrestler to call the number. And honey, I called that number. And they told me to show up at a local gym in downtown Dallas. And who did I meet there? But none other than Skandar Akbar. Even though I was so green, Akbar thought I had something, and I started training with him. I was wrestling locally for a couple of years, then I started traveling throughout the United States for many years. That's where I trained really hard to learn my craft. When I finally got a call from WWE, I was so excited. That means my hard work had finally paid off, and I made my debut in Chicago, and it went well. I was so fortunate to win the Women's WWE Championship early in my wrestling career in 1998. Then I reached my pinnacle when I won it again a couple of years later. That was the high point for me that I will always remember. And the rest is history. I am so grateful for the years with WWE and the folks that I met and the places I traveled along the way. I am going to close by thanking the people that made it all happen for me. None of this would be possible without the fans. All of you, every last one of you has been great. Thank you so much. I want to thank my family and friends for all their love and support, especially in the beginning when it was all new to me. I want to thank some of the wrestlers, Trish, Lita, Marty Holly, Terry Reynolds, Victoria, and Sable. And I want to thank a lot of the guys as well. There are too many to mention. It was a pleasure working with y'all and getting to know you. And most importantly, I want to thank WWE. They gave me the opportunity to work for this great organization. It was so much fun traveling, working, laughing with the guys and girls. Thank you so much.
Hello, McFly.
Where's Austin?
Get him! I thought everybody's dad looked like a deranged serial killer.
Mr. McMahon?
I know. I'm the funniest guy ever.
We're gonna deal with this the way any self-respecting adult does, by ignoring it. Hey, girls!
I want to go home.
A bra!
Something about your ponytail and it leaving just doesn't sit right with me.
It didn't leave, I cut it off.
I don't believe it.
Hugs come in many forms, Tommy.
Come on.
I'm Mick Foley, and nothing prepared me for the biggest challenge of them all. I got married and had kids. 4 of them.
I need to tell you something. I want to wrestle.
Why?
The universe is electric tonight as we welcome you to Payback. WWE goes extreme. Extreme rules.
This is awkward.
Welcome back to the 2016 WWE Hall of Fame induction ceremony. WWE Hall of Fame is presented by Mattel's Hall of Fame Elite Series action figures, available exclusively at Target.
Thank you very much. Right now, we'd just like to take a moment to honor many of the pioneers of this extraordinary business, the men who paved the way for all of our superstars that are sitting out here tonight. We want to take a moment and pay homage to some of the all-time greats.
Please welcome the following inductees into the 2016 WWE Legacy Hall of Fame.
Of New Zealand, Pat O'Connor.
At a nimble 6 foot, 230 pounds, Pat O'Connor possessed cat-like speed and agility. Launching his illustrious 30-year career in the 1940s, Irish Pat quickly became one of the Golden Era's true stars. Regarded as one of wrestling's toughest men, O'Connor's prowess led him to multiple championship reigns, including the first man to hold the NWA and AWA championships simultaneously. Known as the Russian Lion, George Hackenschmidt's physique was seemingly sculpted from granite. An early pioneer of physical culture and inventor of the bear hug, Hackenschmidt wowed worldwide audiences with amazing feats of strength and stamina. His influence even caused President Teddy Roosevelt to once proclaim, "If I wasn't President of the United States, I would like to be George Hackenschmidt." With his catch-as-catch-can style and patented toehold, Frank Gotch ascended to dominance in the early 20th century. A true ring general of his era, Gotch defeated fellow inductee George Hackenschmidt in 1908 to become the first American ever to capture the World Championship. His celebrated 5-year reign is routinely credited with popularizing sports entertainment in America. The epitome of style and grace, the pinup girl who pins them down, wasn't afraid to mix it up with challengers of both sexes. Mildred Burke's unique blend of strength, skill, and sex appeal inspired generations of women. In 1935, the Queen of the Ring cemented her place in history, winning the NWA World Women's Championship and reigning for a record 20 years. Standing 6'4" and 250 pounds, Sailor Art Thomas was a chiseled colossus of the ring. A member of the United States Navy before beginning his in-ring career in 1943, Thomas went on to become one of the most beloved performers in the world and a true cultural icon. As one of the earliest African-American superstars to ever step foot between the ropes, Thomas paved the way for all those who would follow in his path.
One of wrestling's most famous personalities, Ed Strangler Lewis.
Nicknamed the Strangler due to his penchant for rendering men unconscious with his powerful sleeper hold, Lewis was nearly unbeatable for 4 decades. Ed Strangler Lewis captured the World Championship 5 times and is widely regarded by his fellow legends as the greatest wrestler of all time. One of the greatest performers to ever lace up a pair of boots, Lou Thesz is widely considered to be the Babe Ruth of wrestling. Hooker captured his first world championship at just 21 and would go on to become a 6-time world champion, competing for an incredible 7 decades. A physical innovator in the ring, many of Thesz's maneuvers are still emulated today. Simply put, Lou Thesz was the complete superstar, and as the face of the National Wrestling Alliance, became an international sensation. Congratulations to the 2016 WWE Legacy Hall of Fame inductees.
Well, you know, our next superstars have been waiting a long time for this night to happen. So before anyone else changes their mind again, let's go ahead and bring out our next inductees.
They were the first to actually come out to music.
The original supergroup.
The first 3-man tag team.
From Bash Street, USA, the fabulous Freebirds.
Nobody flies higher than the Freebirds.
They were a unique and an eclectic gathering of talent.
Michael P.S. Hayes, Terry Bam Bam Gordy, and Buddy Jack Roberts dominated the tag team division with their innovative 3-man team.
They were a 3-man tag team that any two could be in the ring.
The odds are on the Freebirds' side.
After the departure of Buddy Roberts, the Freebirds added Jimmy Jam Garvin to the team to continue their 3-man legacy.
The Freebirds were in Dallas with the Von Erichs for a long time, and that's what really put them on the map.
Dallas, Texas is the home of the Von Erichs and the Freebirds.
Hey man, we're running these Von Erichs out of Texas.
Dial it back in time to 10-year-old me sitting on my couch watching the Von Erichs fight the Freebirds every Saturday, and that being the biggest thing in my life.
If we gotta run over the Von Erichs, we'll do it with pleasure.
If I leave here tomorrow,
was a palpable fever in arenas all across the country.
They tore that town up and they made everybody hate them.
You cannot create that atmosphere, and I knew right then that that's what I wanted to do with my life.
Bye, bye, baby, Mr. Sweet Love, Oh, this feeling I can't change. 'Cause I'm as free as a bird now.
We are without a doubt the greatest combination of wrestling has ever seen.
Many would say the greatest threesome in professional wrestling today.
Michael, Buddy, Terry, and Jimmy, they were game changers.
They are an explosive tag team combination.
Lord, I can't change. Won't you fly free, bird, yeah.
The Freebirds were the tag team that you wanted to be like. The way they went out there and performed, and they let fans know that they were stars.
They took the concept of tag team wrestling and completely turned it upside down.
We were born on Planet Rock, in a city that they call Party Town. The name of the street was Bad Street.
Hall of Fame! Don't you dare be sour! Clap for your world famous two-time champs and feel the power! It's a new day, yes it is!
Yes. Wow. Beautiful faces everywhere. Yeah.
Hey, we just had to take a hot second there to. Oh boy.
Oh. Wow. For us.
Wow.
For us.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow. Hey.
Thank you. Thank you.
We appreciate y'all joining us in that hot second because we wanted to take that moment to admire ourselves right now because we look so fresh and so clean. But tonight is not about us. Oh no, tonight is about the fabulous Freebirds, baby.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
You see, a lot of people have been asking us and wondering why the New Day are the ones to induct the Freebirds into the Hall of Fame. Why?
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 Why? Why? Well, because the New Day and the Freebirds, we actually have a whole lot in common.
We love to sing.
Sing.
We love to dance.
Those hips don't lie.
They don't.
And we are both multi-men groups that function like a well-oiled unit.
My unit is well-oiled.
Oh.
Yeah, it is.
No.
Our unit is well-oiled.
We share a unit?
It's the
It's the
Freebird
rules.
rules.
That's weird.
We
That's
share everything,
That's
whether
real
it's
weird.
oiled or not.
That's weird, man.
Your unit is my unit.
That's
my
weird.
unit is your unit.
You know what?
What?
We both love to have fun. That's true. That's true.
It is.
The New Day, you see, we come out with the unicorn horns.
That's right.
Kofi with that skip clap.
Get it?
There it is. There it is. There it is. And Woods with the trombone. Francesca too, blowing on his girl. Yeah. Yeah. But the Freebirds, man, those dudes love to have fun.
They did.
Yep.
They did.
Y'all remember that face paint? Oh. Yeah, we said it. We're gonna talk about it. The red, the white, and the blue, man, those dudes were patriotic. They loved America. And we do too.
That's right.
Yes. USA. 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 USA.
But. In all seriousness, the main thing that we learned from the Freebirds was that family doesn't necessarily mean that you are related by blood.
Yes, sir.
Family means brotherhood.
Amen.
Family's who you ride with.
Preach it.
Family's who you train with.
Yes.
Just a second.
Too much?
It's too much.
Hall of Fame, just one serious part?
Okay. You gotta be serious for a little while.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Family is your chemistry. Family are your best friends. We've not only taken that and put it on our on-ring personas, but we've added that to our everyday lives. These two men are my brothers. Just like the Freebirds are brothers. True. So Freebirds, thank you for teaching us that.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yep.
The Freebirds were brothers. They were also innovators. For example, we all know that the Freebirds were the first group to come out to the ring to the tune of rock music.
Yeah.
True.
So,
What?
technically,
What is he?
you see where I'm going with
Yeah,
this?
I get it.
You see it?
Yep.
Where you?
Free Birds Rock!
Oh!
Yep.
Yes. Do you think they know the?
We have a clapping thing? Do they know about that? Do they know about that?
Yeah. But can we say it?
Yeah.
To say those words though?
Yep.
Okay. Free Birds Rock! 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 Free! Oh!
Free birds need oxygen.
Yes. Yeah, immediately. Wow. Well, I haven't danced that hard in over a quarter of a century. I mean, that's a long time.
And it looked like it.
Yeah.
So, anyway, thank you for the response. How about it for New Day? How good are they?
Yeah, all right.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow. I mean, those guys are entertaining. And there's only one thing left to say. Thank you and good night.
Wait. Oh, wait a minute. You can't leave now.
Wait.
We just got here.
There's an office pool.
I almost had a heart attack.
Yeah, I figured that.
And you want to leave?
Well, there's an office pool on how long we were going to go. Some said 45, some said an hour and a half. I took the under. So I can make this bet happen for me.
Yeah, but I took the over.
Oh.
So I can make it happen for me.
Okay.
Let's work a deal.
What?
Let's hang around a little bit.
Okay, you want us to hang around a little bit?
I will hang around a little bit. I'll tell you what we can do.
What?
I'll give you some numbers. We'll play a little game.
Okay.
As soon as I can catch my breath.
Okay. Well, now we're going into the over because it's going to be 90 minutes.
Well, that's the whole idea. I'll split the money with you. I mean, we're going to make the money anyway. So.
Okay.
55.
Okay.
37.
Yeah.
And 32. What the heck is that, right?
I have no idea.
I'm going to tell you. 55 years ago, Chief Jay Strongbow took me to 106 North Albany to Championship Wrestling of Florida at their Florida Sportatorium and threw me in the ring when I was 9 years old. And I thank him. I smelled the canvas, I felt the ropes, and I said, I think this feels like home as a 9-year-old. 1961, for God's sakes.
I hope your math is right.
Yeah. Okay, how about 37?
How about it?
37 years ago, neither one of us probably remember exactly how everything went, but that's kind of par for the course. But we had that was when we became brothers at Tommy Rich's birthday party, along with a couple of little,
moonshine.
Moonshine. I didn't want to get in trouble,
I stay in trouble here. Trust me, it's not a problem.
I mean, I understand our positions, and so it was 37 years ago that I became brothers with Michael P.S. Hayes, and it's been a wonderful ride ever since. All right, 32.
32.
32. 32 years ago, Texas Stadium, attendance record of all times. Tomorrow, at WrestleMania 32, that record will be smashed. And I know it's going to be one heck of a night.
Well, speaking of smashed, I don't know if you recall, one of the first nights that we came back from one of the Sportatorium sellouts, Jerry and Buddy and I had just got our first apartment. First time we'd all ever lived together. We were excited. We went out, we rented our own furniture. I mean, we had this 2-bedroom apartment and we thought it was the bomb.
I mean, I had one across the street, but...
Yeah, but you never went there. You stayed with us, you and Sunshine. So we sell it out, we're happy, we're at the front door with our good friend Jack.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. And so Jack's there with us and we go, okay, who's got the key?
I said I didn't have the key.
Right, and then I looked at Buddy.
We never give Buddy nothing to hold.
No. So Buddy didn't have the key. So I look at Terry, and Terry goes, oh, I ain't got the key, Michael. So I thought, well, hell, maybe I got the key, and I go to search it, and now we're all looking at each other. Everybody's blaming each other, this and that. Terry said, guess what? I found the key. He steps back, bam, he kicks the door right off its hinge. First night in the apartment. Now we have no door, thousands of dollars in outfits all over the place, but the party continues.
We just propped the door back up against where we're supposed to be.
Yeah, that works for a while.
Yeah.
So during the course of this party, for some inexplicable reason, Terry decides to show his strength off, grabs the dining room table by the front legs, hurls it, hits the ceiling in the living room, goes through the sliding glass doors, shatters them.
Shatters him.
I look at Terry, I look away. Because Terry was hot, and I was not going to ask him why he did that. But it fired up Buddy enough that Buddy comes around. He starts forearming all the sheetrock there, knocking holes in the wall, and now you can see nothing but the piping. So now Terry and I, instead of being mad at each other, decide what we always did, get mad at Buddy. That always works.
Yeah.
So Buddy knows we're mad. He turns around, he looks at us, and he thinks, I can do one thing. Takes this running jump, does this big ass bump on the coffee table, shatters it to pieces. He turns around, looks at me and Terry, goes, we never drank coffee anyway. True story.
And then, in pure Buddy fashion, and it was the middle of the summertime,
yeah.
He thought, well, let's not put this wood to waste. Let's make a fire. Thank goodness we had a fireplace in the apartment.
That helped.
That helped because there was going to be a fire.
Oh, yeah.
And he burnt the coffee table piece at a time like a little elf at Christmas time. and he burnt the end tables. He didn't burn the couch because somebody had to lay there. But that was just one story that comes to our mind. And I miss them so much. I miss them dearly. Michael and I miss them dearly. They were and are still our brothers. And I would give anything to have them with us now.
Well, I can guarantee you, right now, tonight, and as always, we will feel the presence of Buddy Jack Roberts and Terry Bam Bam Gordy. But, to make it even a little bit more special, we have two kids that have also felt this presence all their life. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Ray Gordy and Buddy Jack Roberts Jr.
Wow. Thank you. Growing up around this business, I was a huge fan of it, just like all of y'all. I loved going to the Sportatorium on Friday nights to watch World Class. It's fantastic. It really was. People would always come up to me and ask me, so Ray, who's your favorite wrestler? And I always thought it was the oddest question. Because, of course, my favorite wrestler was Kevin Von Erich. I mean, who else would it be? I was a world-class fan. But it wasn't until I decided to get into this business myself that I realized that Terry Bam Bam Gordy was one of the best big men to ever step foot in the ring. He was. He entered into this business at the age of 13 and became a star soon thereafter, not only in the United States, but worldwide. So tonight, on behalf of my sisters, Miranda Gordy and Amber Gordy, I want to thank WWE for honoring the memory of our father. And most of all, I want to thank the fans, because without y'all, none of this would ever be possible. None of it. So, thank you all very much.
Are you kidding me? Come on! I tell you what, during rehearsal today, I came out here and the crowd was empty. And for months and months, I had time to plan a speech. And at this moment right here, everything I was gonna say is out the window. Everything. I just want to say thank you to the WWE for inducting the Freebirds, Michael Hayes, Ray Gordy accepting for Terry, and Jimmy Jam, and my dad. It means a whole lot. It really does. My mom, she's over here. She doesn't want to be recognized, but I know my mom should stand up. Please, Mom. Please, come on. She looks great in her Freebird dress. I know I'm in trouble, but yeah, Dad would have did it, so. I just want to say thank you. Dad had a great career over 2 decades with, you know, the Freebirds, the Hollywood Blondes. Yeah, this means a whole lot. And he traveled thousands of miles. He loved every single minute of it. Car rides were his favorite thing. Some of the people in the crowd tonight, you know, I recognize that Dad told many great stories on, that was the most important thing, was traveling the road and just being with his brothers, not just these guys up here. So, thank you very much.
I don't know about all y'all, but I'd really like to hear 1 or 2 more Freebird stories. What do you think?
As everybody is aware of now, it's a family show, so we're really restricted on stories. But we're gonna push the limit, because I mean, what all could happen besides he gets fired? So, you know, we would come back from a hard match, and you know, I recall Shawn Michaels talking about Triple H and him and how they could look at each other and they would know what each one was thinking, and I completely can relate to that, along with Michael and Buddy and Terry. We could look at each other and we knew what we were thinking. A lot of times we didn't really like what Buddy was thinking, but that's okay. But we'd finish a match and we'd be in the shower, and oh man, it'd be just relaxing and soaping up really good, and I'd be in the shower, and all of a sudden, so warm on my back. And I turn around, and of course, yeah, you know, he's peeing on my back, you know, but I kind of kept an eye on his kid while he was out here. I said, well, he's not going to get behind me. Because Buddy Jack Jr. would have probably done the same thing. But we had so much fun. We marched to a different drum. It wasn't our fault. Oh, that sounds familiar. It is not my fault, by the way. I'm sorry. It's just not my fault. We had a wonderful time, and I miss him dearly. And if you want to tell a story,
all right,
you can tell a story too.
Okay, so when we first got here, Terry and I were together with Kerry and David Von Erich. We were in Lubbock, Texas. We had yet to do the big angle that made us rivals for the rest of time, and we were actually getting along and traveling together. Well, they knew this couple up in Lubbock that would take care of us and give us a good room on houses, And they always talked about this little club called the Cheyenne Social Club on the outskirts of Lubbock that was a strip club. And they always said, let's go there. And I knew from the get-go that me in clubs was not a good idea if I wanted to stay out of trouble. So we go and we work out, and now we're leaving, and I think we're going to eat or go to a bar or go do something besides go to the Cheyenne Social Club. We pull up to the Cheyenne Social Club, and now I said, okay, great, you guys go in. Fine, do what you want to do, I'll be here in the car. David and Carrie grab me by the arms, Terry grabs me by the legs, and now they're gonna forcibly take me into the club. And so I'm like, okay, no, I don't wanna go in like that, I'll walk in. Now, when I say this is a strip club, I'm not talking about these booter-shaking gentleman clubs with the big and candy up on center stage. No. And Aunt Rosie coming down the pike here, ladies and gentlemen. Aunt Rosie, fresh out her third baby.
And she looked good.
Well, after another Jack Daniels and Coke, she looked good, but nevertheless. So we go in there, and the guys go to the one stage. There wasn't multi-stages, there's one stage. So I go to the back of the bar, and there's a Pac-Man machine. This is like 1982. And I was pretty proficient in Pac-Man. So I'm back there in my Freebird gear. I got my blue jean vest, my Jack Daniels t-shirt. I got my blue jeans stuck in my cowboy boots. Got my biker wallet. So as I'm playing Pac-Man and doing pretty good, all of a sudden I feel this thump up beside my back that was really stiff. And I thought, damn, that was stiff. Why are they hitting me like, and I turn around, and here is this guy in a motorcycle gang with his eyes cocked up. You could smell his breath like kerosene, and he goes, what gang are you in? What are your colors? I said, I ain't in no gang. And about that time, I guess Terry Gordy had seen the whole thing. Terry Gordy comes running over there like he would. He said, let me tell you, and bam. The guy slaps Terry. Bad move. Terry grabs this guy, takes him off the stool, puts him down. About that time, I seen his other buddy. I didn't know what to do, so I grabbed his buddy. I put him on the ground. I thought, damn, I thought these guys could fight. This ain't nothing. And then Terry all of a sudden goes, Michael. I said, what? He goes, he's got a wooden leg. And I thought, does that really matter right now? We're probably in their club that they run, and I'm worried about somebody stabbing us in the back, much less shooting us, and Terry's worried about taking down a guy with a wooden leg. I said, tell you what, why don't we do this? You let your guy up, I'll let my guy up, and then we'll get the hell out of here. All right, Michael. Just like a bad dream. As soon as we start to let him up, the guy that started it all, he just takes his hand and he starts to go in the vest. As he starts going in the vest, you know what he's going for. He's going for a gun. I said, Terry, he's getting a gun. Let's go. We haul ass. We go to the back of the bar. Just like a bad dream, that door is locked. We come hauling mask around, we go out the front door, we take a right, go to the street, we get out to the street, and thank God he had a wooden leg, because it took him a while to get out there too.
That's what saved your life.
Yes, he comes out, he comes stumbling on out, and boom, he looks to the left, he looks to the right, he sees us, and he just unloads. Ba-boom, boom, 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 boom. I went, holy God. I looked at Terry and he goes, I said, what the hell are you laughing at? He goes, 'cause he missed.
Thank you all very much. That's going to be a hard story to top, but I can recall one time where I temporarily lost my mind. We'll talk about just the one time tonight. My father had built a small apartment complex in Tampa, and everyone from the great Malenko to Chief Jay Strongbow, Bruiser Brody, John Studd, Jake the Snake, Angelo Mosca. They all lived there because it was a cool place to live. It was comfortable, it was quiet, and it was private. And I was on the road doing the Gorgeous Jimmy Garvin thing at a time or something else, who knows. But Michael and Terry and Buddy needed a place to stay, so I said, hey, I think I rented it to you, or did I let you stay for free?
No, you rented it to
Oh, yeah. I did rent it to him. So I rented it to him, and then it wasn't a week. And I found out that they almost burned it down. I mean, I think Percy Pringle might have been there.
Yeah.
He threw a burning chair into the swimming pool, almost burnt the Ivy Street Castle down to the ground in less than 7 days. But it would have been worth it. Everything I did with the boys was worth it. And of course, I can't help but mention, while they were fighting with the Von Erichs, I had my moment being valet for a day for David Von Erich, and that memory will live on forever in my mind. It was a lot of fun. I also remember having to deal with a crazy Englishman who had a lot of talent, Chris Adams, God bless him, and 2 women. And when you put a man together with 2 women at the same time, it's not gonna turn out good no matter how hard you try. But the fact of the matter is, and then I'm gonna let Michael take over from here, is I have a good woman, Patty, she's at home. We've been together 47 years, and I love her to death. And honey, I know you're watching now, and I'll see you in a couple of days, and I'm gonna love you even more when I get home. I'd like to thank, that's what I'm talking about, baby. That's what I'm talking about. I have 2 beautiful daughters, Brianne and Lacey, that I love very much. I have 3 grandchildren, Isabel, Luli, and my grandson, James. I have been blessed in many, many ways. And I was blessed to be a Freebird long before probably anybody ever knew it. But it was a wonderful, wonderful experience. And I have to thank each and every one of you here and around the world, because without that, I would not have had the opportunity to express my art, or to give my ideas, or to party with Michael, our Buddy, our Terry, and I will forever appreciate that.
So Jimmy first mentioned it, but I would like to pay tribute to World Class Championship Wrestling really quick. Those were a lot of great guys and gals that right down the road, and I'm talking about Katie's and Industrial, the famous, world-famous Sportatorium. One guy that comes to mind, and he could chop fire at your booty, and that would be Iceman King Parsons. Jimmy mentioned it. The gentleman, Chris Adams. Gorgeous Jimmy Garvin. Precious and Sunshine. And there was a slew of other people. And you know, when you talk about thanking people, there's so many people that I need to thank that I ain't got time and y'all don't want me to do it. What do you got? But seriously, a lot of you I've thanked at other platforms and other forums. Obviously, from the beginning, you thank God, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I thank my mother, who's at home watching this live. She was my greatest motivator, not that she meant to be. My mother had a unique way of doing things with me. Let me just tell you a little story. One time, I'm 9 years old, and I'm at Sears and Roebuck. Before it was Sears and Roebuck. And she's taking me out to get dungarees, which we now call jeans. So as we're looking for dungarees, there's this cute little 9, 10-year-old girl right across the way with another little girl. And she's looking at me. And I'm like, yeah. And I already got 2 strikes against me. I mean, I'm chubby and got a flat top haircut. but she's looking at me. And I'm going, yeah. And then out of nowhere, the mood gets ruined. My mother goes, excuse me, sir, can you tell me where the husky department is? But anyway, I want to thank my mom. There's so many people out in this audience. Pat Patterson taught me everything, still continues to teach me. Jerry Briscoe, Jack Briscoe, what you guys did for the Freebirds. I want to thank all my compadres I work with, all the producers and agents that give their time and their love for this industry to help the new people along. Hollywood John Tatum, had it not been for him, I would have, yeah, stand up, John. Had it not been for him, I'd have never known what Saturday Night Wrestling was. Hey, Sheila. I also would have to thank, and y'all gonna hate this, but the other people I work with, the writers. I love it. You're getting heat. Yeah, I like it. I love it. You guys have no idea how hard they work. Matter of fact, you have no idea how hard not only they work, that everybody in this company works. And I mean, from Carlos and Eddie over at the studio, the PAs at the studio, the people in the towers in the mailroom, all the way up to the 4th floor, there is nobody in this company does not work overtime to make sure that you get a product that puts a smile on your face.
There you go, baby. Right on.
And let me tell you something, when I first heard that slogan, I want to put smiles on faces, I thought, who the hell came up with that? That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Smiles on faces. Ugh. Then I went to a live event, I'm sitting out in the audience, and all I see is smiles on faces. That's what we do. That's what we live for. That's why people put their bodies on the line. That's why they put relationships on the line. And by the way, before I forget, no doubt, without these two men, no Freebirds, Afa and Sika, the Wild Samoans. Yeah, you can give it up for them. Just to prove how crazy I am, I'm going to also thank my 2 ex-wives. I'm serious, not a joke.
He's serious.
My first ex-wife, Claire, for being the only person at the time that believed that I could do this and stood by me. My second ex-wife, Lori, who kept that dream going and gave me some of the craziest, wildest, funnest times I ever could have. And I tell you what, 24 years, 20 good, 4 bad, I'll take that ratio. I thank you both very much. It was your fault you married me. But, you know, in the past few years, I have found something out, and there's a reason I found that out. And that's because of this family sitting right here on the front row. And that's the McMahon family. Paul and Stephanie, when I was in a not so good place, you guys stepped out and you helped me get in a better place. Stephanie, you have always had my back, and I love you dearly for that. You are the sister I never had. Shane, you keep me up at night. Boy, you crazy. When the hell you gonna settle down? Jeez. And Linda, the only one in the family that's not crazy. I mean, Linda is all right, even though she kind of ruined my in-concert act at Hunter and Steph's wedding and only let me sing 1 song. And as a matter of fact, didn't I almost accidentally pee on you on an airplane one time?
No, you didn't.
Thank God I didn't. However, if I had, Linda, that would have been on you. The one thing that my little vacation taught me was that probably why I wasn't really good at the marriage thing was because I already had a wife. I was married to this business, and I have been since I was 14 years old. If you ever think that you can't do something, I'm telling you right now, turn around, look in that mirror, and make that decision that you can do that if given the opportunity. Because I guarantee you, I was the last person you would ever think that would be standing on this stage talking to you, a WWE Hall of Famer. And I implore everyone in the audience here, every one of you kids, my kids from NXT, I love them. I implore all of you that carry this torch on to carry it on with the same love that we all have. Love our business, and if you do, our business will love you back. I did have one love that didn't start and then end bad. I had one love that started good and ended good. Right now, I'd like to introduce you to JoJo Hayes. JoJo was my baby. I loved her to death. I love her every day. I miss her every single day. I lost her, be 2 years in September. Crushed me. But there was a wise man who stood up on this stage one time, another Hall of Famer. He said something a couple years ago in Houston at the Hall of Fame ceremony, and it sticks with my mind. Don't worry about the years that you don't have and the time that you miss. Cherish the time that you did have and the time that you still do. Love each other every single moment and take it and don't take nothing for granted. The man that told me that was from the most famous family in Texas, and I'm talking about the Von Erichs. And ladies and gentlemen, right now, I'd like to bring to this stage none other than the legendary Hall of Famer Kevin Von Erich.
You guys, Michael talks about family, and I want to tell you something. Family is what it's all about. Now, I told you before, we called each other brothers. And the Freebirds, okay, they were brothers. You know, I'm not going to judge. My brothers, we call from the same mom, but let's let that go. They were brothers because they loved each other. These new gay guys are brothers because they love each other, and it's working. It is. It's what makes everything work. When I say brothers, I'm not talking about blood brothers. What I'm talking about is giving it all you've got and completely trusting your partner like you would a brother. The Birds did it. Terry Gordy is one of the most powerful men I've ever met in my life. My brother Kerry. I want to say hello to Buddy Roberts, was a heck of an athlete. I'll say hello to Janice tonight and his son Buddy. Also, I'd like to extend my deepest love to Terry Gordy's family. Ray, that was so touching what you said about your dad, and he was that way. Your father was a beautiful man. He was such a good man, and he put his family first. Man, I'll never forget him. No. A lot of y'all know my story, and I did lose my family. And it gave me a chance to look at life in a way that I wouldn't have looked at it before. I thought money was what did it, and I thought fame is what did it. I thought, it's all these other things, but no, it's family. I have my sons, Marshall and Ross. The Von Erich brothers are still here. Marsh, stand up. Ross, stand up. There's my boys right there. There's the Von Erichs. It's love. It is love. The love I have when I go out in Texas, y'all watched me grow up here, but to entertain you folks and hear you scream, it makes me feel like I'm flying. I can't tell you. I go back to it. I look out here, I see these faces, I look at these men that I've wrestled with all over the world, and I'm telling you, I am so grateful. So grateful. Some people may say, poor Kev. Don't say poor Kev. Say lucky Kev. I am the luckiest man on earth. I'm telling you, I really am. Thank you so much. And congratulations, Michael. Congratulations, Michael, Buddy, Terry, Jimmy, and all of you guys that poured your guts into everything we did, because yeah, we hurt each other, we beat each other pretty bad, but it made darn good TV, and it was a lot of fun. God bless Texas.
Well, I guess Jimmy won. We're into the over, so there's not but one thing left to do. Born on the planet Rock, raised in the city they call Party Town, and grew up on a street they call Bad Streets. And the reason they called it Bad Street was the further you went down the block, the better it got. And we lived on the last house on the right. Hit it. All right, let's do this.
I'm gonna tell y'all a story about a place you don't wanna be. This ain't no home sweet home, it's a home sweet misery. They knew when we got here, they tried to put us away. But when they seen us walk down the street, they ran the other way. Bad Street, Atlanta, GA. Bad Street in the whole USA. Bad Street, nasty and hot. Food down and like you at the battle it got. Shaky baby. Street is jumping, she not to be a brow. Old lady McDuffie, she done gave the cops a call. She might well call the Army or United States Marines, cause can't nobody handle this bad street scene. Bad Street, Atlanta, GA. Bad Street in the whole USA. Bad Street, nasty and hot. Further down the block you went, battle it got. Come on. Zabisco, how am I doing? $70 bucks get calling. They thought that they were hot. They thought that they were nasty. Couldn't make it down our block. Never forget a hearing that ambulance driver say. Someone should have told those boys about Bad Street, USA. Don't you come looking on this side of town, cause this is where the freebirds live and everything's going down. If you don't know by now, we always get our way. That's the way it is down here on Bad Street, USA. Bad Street, Atlanta, GA. Bad Street in the whole USA. Bad Street, nasty and hot. Further down the block you went, the battle it got. Good night, Dallas.
There is no shield that can protect Dean Ambrose from the wrath of Brock Lesnar.
I'm indestructible, and you're gonna find that out the hard way.
My client accepts your challenge.
Let the beast off his leash, I dare you.
in a down and dirty,
No holds barred.
street fight.
Street fight.
Wow, hard to follow the Freebirds. Man. Right now, though, let's take a look at our next inductee.
Listen to this tremendous ovation! Has he got his nightstick? He got his handcuffs?
A former corrections officer from Cobb County, Georgia, the Big Boss Man burst onto the scene in 1988, ready to enforce his brand of justice.
Big Boss Man is the law, is the order in the World Wrestling Federation. I'm gonna make sure you serve hard time.
Sometimes just pinning a guy doesn't do the job. Sometimes somebody needs to be taught a lesson.
He was the big boss man, and that nightstick always came into play.
Boss Man's larger-than-life persona made him one of the most popular superstars in WWE.
And I'll be there in the end to see that justice prevails.
As WWE entered the Attitude Era, the Boss Man returned, embracing the dark side of the badge.
I'm enforcing the man's law. You're gonna abide by it.
The corrupted Boss Man became one of the founding members of Mr. McMahon's corporation, immediately catapulting him to championship gold.
He was involved in a lot of hardcore matches, and back in the Attitude Era, that's what you paid to see.
These groundbreaking matches instantly became cult classics, still talked about to this day. After a career entertaining fans worldwide, the Big Boss Man's legacy will be celebrated for generations.
One of the best, smoothest in-ring technicians for a 300-plus pounder.
He had the it factor, character that people can either love or hate.
A big guy that lived a dream and made the most of it.
I want you to look at each and every man in this crowd. Every one of them believe in the Big Boss Man, believe in law, order, and justice, and there ain't no way I'm gonna let them down.
And now, to induct the Big Boss Man into the WWE Hall of Fame, one of the greatest managers of all time, the Doctor of Style, the one and only Slick.
Well, I met this lady and I told her quite a story. Said I love her forevermore. But the trouble is I tell the same old story to every girl that walks through the door.
Hey! Hey! Is everybody happy? Is everybody having a good time? Then let me get an amen. Oh, come on, you can do better than that. Give me an amen. Do you have kids? If you got kids, take care of your kids. Remember, it's much easier to build a child than to repair one. Now, having said that, at this time, we're going to receive our collection for tonight. I want you to dig deep. No ones, no fives. Hit them 20s and 50s. I must apologize. I thought I was at church. In all sincerity, from the time he arrived in WWE from Cobb County, Georgia, the WWE universe was captivated by the undeniable presence of the Big Boss Man. Anyone who knew the Big Boss Man was well aware of the fact that if you crossed the line, whether in the ring or out, you'd be serving hard time. He carried a big stick, a big ball and chain, but more importantly, he had one of the biggest hearts of anyone in this business. I consider myself lucky to have had the privilege to serve as his manager, but even luckier to have been his friend. In addition to being a great singles competitor, he also formed with Akeem, and they became the iconic Twin Towers. When the Big Boss Man walked into a room, everyone took notice. At 6'6", 315 pounds, the Big Boss Man had a smile that could light up any room, any arena, and any stadium that he walked into. From the minute I set eyes on the Boss Man, I knew that he was the definition of a superstar. The Big Boss Man's rise to the top was no accident. Within the blink of an eye, sooner than soon and quicker than right now, he was in the main event in Saturday night's main event. He helped shape the foundation of pay-per-views, Survivor Series, SummerSlam, and the grandest stage of them all, WrestleMania. I would be lying if I said that anybody who had the opportunity to work with him didn't make lots and lots of money. And you know it's true, because as the Jive Soul Bro said, honesty is the best policy. And I'm lean and mean and my pockets are full of green because of the Big Boss Man. Regrettably, on September 22nd, 2004, the world lost a star, a hero, a father and a husband, but heaven gained a guardian angel. For a man who was always tough, always strong, the Big Boss Man was a humble man who loved his family. This evening, there is no better way to pay tribute to the man who dedicated his life to the family that he loved and to the business that he lived for by inducting the Big Boss Man into the WWE Hall of Fame. Here to accept this honor on his behalf, please welcome his beloved wife, Angela, and his daughters, Lagan, Lacey, and Megan.
I want to start off by just saying thank you to the WWE Universe and all the fans for keeping Dad's memory alive all these years. I mean, it's just incredible. Thank you guys so much. Gosh, such a great honor. I wish he was here to accept this award for himself, but he would just be so tickled right now. I mean, this is great. The last time I went to a WrestleMania, I think it was like 2001, and I was like under the age of 10, so we were in Houston, Texas, and I was more excited about, back again in Dallas. But I was more excited about the Butterfly Museum, I think, than watching him compete, you know, little kid. But it's crazy because in hindsight and looking back, you know, because I grew up with my dad in the business, so this is all kind of just normal for me. In hindsight, I see now that my dad had a like pretty cool job. It doesn't get much cooler than this, right? Like it was normal for me to, you know, growing up seeing like grown men dressed like warriors and Greek gods, policemen, and, you know, wearing that tight spandex. I remember one time I was at a show with Dad up in New York. I think it was Madison Square Garden. And people ask me all the time, they're like, so what's it like? Your dad's a wrestler. I'm just kind of like, I don't really talk about it too much. You know, Dad's prime, like when I grew up, it was during the Attitude Era, so there was a lot of things happening around that time that might embarrass a little kid. But at that show at Madison Square Garden, I'll never forget, we're on the way from the airport, and Dad says to me, he's like, Lacey, you know, Daddy has to do certain things for the business, you know. We just don't talk about it, but, you know, it's all for the business, and he would have done anything for WWE. He loved this business so much. But needless to say, later that night, I was watching my own father have his face pummeled in Rikishi's, you know, rear end. So that's pretty traumatizing to a little kid. I think I'll just not watch next time, Daddy. How about that? But it's hilarious, you know, in hindsight, just looking back, and, you know, thank you guys so much. He would be so honored, and I just can't even. I wish he was here so much. Thank you. Having said all that, it was kind of awkward at school having to explain to kids that my dad actually didn't, you know, kidnap some dude's dog and feed it to him. So, pepper's all right, you guys. There was no pepper steak served at our house growing up, I promise. So, you know, and even though Dad, he loved being a villain, he loved to get people riled up, and he loved to get a reaction of people, you know, being the villain that he was and taking a joyride on the, with Big Show's dad's casket. You know, he lived for that. Good stuff. But he really just was an outstanding human being. You know, it's completely different seeing him play the villain, you know, in the ring, and then you meet him outside and he's just a big sweetheart. And I'm so grateful that he fathered me, and I'm sure my sisters say the same. And we want to thank you guys so much for keeping his memory alive, and he would be so honored to accept this award. You know, sis?
Everybody recognize this? Yep, this was actually used. When Ray went into the ring, he had the stick, but when he came home, he had his heart. And he loved his family, and everyone that knew Ray knows how he loved his family. Sorry. It never mattered what kind of mood a person was in. He never could stay mad at anyone. Even, I'm sure, and we know he pissed off a bunch of people being funny, but that's just the way he was. He enjoyed being funny. He enjoyed making people feel good. He loved kids. He did so much for our community, and I mean, all the way up to the day he died. The day he died, he was out doing stuff for the community that day. That's just the person he was. He loved this business. He loved his friends, and he called it a brotherhood, and he loved all of his brothers. And he would come home and he would tell, you know, I was with him for 30 years. I've seen a lot in this business. And, you know, when you have Rick Steiner as a roommate for a few years, you learn a whole lot. You become one of the boys because you really can't say a whole lot. But we've had a great life, and we will always remember Ray, and we really, really, really appreciate, the legacy that he's left behind. And thank you all. Thank the fans. Thank everyone for coming, and thank you.
Thank you, guys.
This is what we have worked for. Leading the charge. I am your genetically superior Divas champion.
I am the fire of this division.
I'm the best diva this company has ever seen.
I've been waiting all night for this. Let's take a look at our next inductizzle. Okay. It sounded a lot cooler in my head, but it didn't work, did it? Let's take a look at our next inductee.
Over the years, the WWE Hall of Fame Celebrity Wing has honored a number of esteemed performers who have graced the WWE stage. Arnold Schwarzenegger, Mike Tyson, Pete Rose, Mr. T, and the one and only Donald Trump. But this year, the WWE Hall of Fame is going to the dogs. Or rather, dog.
I am Snoop D-O double jizzle for shizzle dizzle. Snoop Dogg in the house! Huge member of the WWE Universe.
With a bark as vicious as his bite, Snoop Dogg has been a main event player on the hip-hop scene for more than 2 decades. Hailing from Long Beach, California, Snoop first found the spotlight as the protege of Dr. Dre. Contributing multiple rhymes on Dre's multi-platinum smash, The Chronic, Snoop's unique, smooth flow was impossible for the masses to resist, as his 1993 debut album, Doggy Style, sold nearly 1 million copies in its first week before going quadruple platinum. The Dogfather's early success has continued to this day, as he has sold more than 35 million albums worldwide, while also appearing in numerous movies and television programs.
I think we got a winner.
Check out Snoop and the Divas!
Oh, he's the man!
And when it comes to the WWE, Snoop is always ready to drop it like it's hot, having appeared multiple times on both Raw and
WrestleMania!
Snoop Mania is running wild, baby.
Man, that's what I'm talking about. Nothing loosens me up like my own personal stash of scented candles. Look at these things, ladies. We got blueberry, autumn leaf, and my personal favorite, fresh cut grass.
Wait, what was that?
Even though I'm not a WWE athlete, I do kick ass like I'm one.
You gotta love Snoop Dogg!
It is a beautiful thing.
It is with great pride tonight that we raise our glass of gin and juice to toast both a hip-hop icon and the newest member of the WWE Hall of Fame, Snoop Dogg. Tonight, the WWE truly is a dog-eat-dog world.
Well, when it came time to find someone to induct Snoop Dogg, we knew it was a no-brainer. We had to find someone with similar background, similar lifestyle, similar habits, and even similar physique. So, ladies and gentlemen, here's John Cena!
Snoop D-O-double-G. I could tell you about his 13 solo albums, the millions of records he's sold around the world, or the fact that he is the reason I still mix gin and juice. I could tell you about his TV shows and movies that he's been involved with, from Trailer Park Boys to Soul Plane. I could tell you that he is a dedicated youth and high school football coach. Or I could speak a little bit about his latest business venture, Leafs by Snoop. I can sum it up like this: when saying hi to Snoop, it definitely doesn't mean hello. But that's not why I'm here. Yes, Snoop Dogg has had an unbelievably successful career. But on this night, for this event, for this raucous audience, I would like to showcase some different career accomplishments to give you perspective on why we honor this man here tonight. Snoop Dogg's WWE career started 2 years before mine, and he has been a member of the WWE family ever since. Snoop Dogg has had more WrestleMania experience than 10 superstars that you will see in tomorrow's show. And for 15 years, through many good times and many bad times, which quite frankly were probably some of my matches, Snoop Dogg has been a very vocal supporter and proud member of the WWE Universe. The celebrity wing of the Hall of Fame was created for those that contribute to WWE. Calvin Brodus Jr., AKA Michael J. Corleone, AKA Captain Mac, AKA Snoop Dizzle Fo Shizzle, has done so much more than contribute. He has been a member of our family. Whether he's having fun in the middle of a WWE ring or he's having fun behind the scenes with WWE superstars, when Snoop shows up, he is never a visitor. This is Snoop's home. Which, of course, means there'll be some interesting results to tomorrow's drug test. That being said, it is with great honor tonight that I induct one of our own. And on a personal note, when a hoodlum from the mean street of West Newbury was running around yelling that he was the doctor of thugonomics at the top of his lungs, Snoop Dogg caught wind of this and could have very easily turned his nose up at me like so many others did. He did not. He invited me into his recording studio, and I got to make music with the master. I am forever grateful to Snoop Dogg for that moment, but I am even more grateful for year in and year out his vocal allegiance and support to what we all love, the WWE. Ladies and gentlemen, the incomparable Snoop Doggy Dogg.
So, since I see nobody did it, I gotta keep it hood and get a selfie of the whole crowd real quick. What up, Joe? I love you too, loved one. First of all, I'd like to thank the WWE family, the WWE Universe, and all of the fans that always fight to get Snoop Dogg in the ring and fight to get me here. Appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for allowing me to be a part of the 2016 Hall of Fame. It means so much to me being a fan of wrestling for so long and just watching the development of it and watching how it's the #1 sport in the world, not just in America, but the world. I also want to give a shout out to John Cena for that great speech he put together. Now, me and John, we share a few secrets in the studio. You know, he's a very, very fly rapper, and he allowed me to fly to friendly skies with him, if you understand what I'm saying. I've also had a chance to work with, you know, a lot of other wrestlers who I'm such a fan of, like Randy Orton, Mark Henry, DX, and especially HB, Shizzle, my nizzle. I can't forget about the one and only Stone Cold Steve Austin. Oh yeah, and one of my favorites, The Undertaker. But most of all, I want to give a shout out to my little cousin. Sasha Banks, the legit boss. You know what's so crazy about that scenario is that I remember in 2008 when I took her to WrestleMania in Orlando. She was just a young little teenager, and I took her around to meet everybody that she wanted to meet, and you could just see her face light up. You could tell this is where she belonged, and this is where she wanted to be. And to see the love that you guys have been giving her, and to see her face on the side of the AT&T Stadium, I mean, I don't even know what to say to express how great this feels as a family member to see my little cousin fighting for it all tomorrow. I love you, Sasha. Now, as a kid, I had the same aspirations because my grandfather used to keep me up late night watching wrestling. Well, he called it wrestling. We'd be up late night watching wrestling, and he decided to take me down to the Olympic Auditorium one Saturday, and that's in Los Angeles. And I had the opportunity to see Andre the Giant and Gorilla Monsoon. And to see that as a young kid from the east side of the LBC, it really inspired me. It helped me to love this sport forever, to want to instill it in everybody that I was around, my kids, my family members, and just to see the great sport of wrestling transcend the world and become the #1 attraction for sports is a tribute to everybody in this building tonight. So give yourselves a round of applause. Now, a lot of superstars I watched growing up not only inspired me to become an entertainer, but they actually influenced me. Tony Atlas, Rocky Johnson, the Junkyard Dog, the late, great American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. And the originator of swag himself, the jet flying, limousine riding, kiss stealing, willing and dealing, the nature boy, Ric Flair. Woo! I have to say this, man, wrestling has been good to me, and I love to be a part of y'all family. I put together a nice little rap I want to end with. Since that's what I do, I rap in my spare time. Check me out one time. I do not sing, but I make a song. You love your whole life and I hope you live long. I swing, bang, and hang from left to right. I have to say that tonight is the highlight of my life. When you mention me, you point to people like him, Godfather OG, where you get that brim. Now you know my name and you know my game. Much love for letting me into the 2016 WWE Hall of Fame. Peace.
Please welcome back your host for the evening, Jerry the King Lawler.
Thank you so much. This has been an awesome night, and it is not over yet. There's so much more to come. Let's take a look right now at our next inductee.
Last year, WWE was honored to establish and present the very first Warrior Award.
When I think about this Warrior Award, it is about the impact your life has on those around you and the legacy you leave behind.
An award given to someone who exhibits unwavering strength and perseverance and embodies the indomitable spirit of the Ultimate Warrior. This year, WWE continues the tradition by honoring its next recipient, Joan Lunden. As the face of Good Morning America for nearly 2 decades, Joan has reported from 26 countries, covering 5 Olympic Games and 4 presidential elections. With her fearless attitude, Joan would face any and all challenges, which even included stepping into the ring in 2001. This mentality would grip and engage audiences, which led her to become the longest-running early morning host in television history. As a mother of 7, she has dedicated her career to helping families live happy and healthier lives. But it was the news she received in 2014 that would alter her life forever. Diagnosed with a rare form of breast cancer, Joan would begin a battle that is impossible to prepare for. Through the debilitating disease, Joan's passion for life never wavered.
And you just have to keep doing everything you can to survive and thrive.
And in the beginning, it was kind of, you almost feel like, what did I do wrong? And then I just turned a corner and said, go into warrior mode.
So it's just another day. We can't control the hand that we're dealt, but we have a lot of control over how we play that hand.
Her courage would resonate with millions. And in 2015, Joan would bring further inspiration to her supporters when she announced that she was cancer-free. Now, as an author, spokesperson, and ambassador, Joan opens up her story through websites, blogs, and videos, offering a place for patients, survivors, and their families to connect with each other and share their stories. And as an advocate for change, Joan provides a voice of hope, fighting for the legislation of women's health on a federal level to get all women the medical coverage that they need.
'Cause the future's in your hands. So keep on fighting till the end. Come on.
Her involvement with WWE and numerous other cancer organizations is only a fraction of the work she puts in to improve the lives of others.
Because of your support, you're able to make me and countless other individuals braver.
It is with great pride that WWE welcomes Joan Lunden into the WWE Hall of Fame class of 2016 as this year's recipient of the Warrior Award.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Warrior Award is about the strength, perseverance, courage, and compassion that embodied the spirit of the Ultimate Warrior. And we can think of no one better to present this award than his wife, Dana Warrior.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, WWE Universe, for allowing the girls and me to be a part of this world. Thank you for embracing us and holding us so close. Thank you, warriors out there. You rock. You're the warriors. That's what he said. You're the warriors. Thank you for the years of loyalty to my husband and now to his family. You warriors are the reason his legacy will live on with the storytellers, and the running he did will indeed live forever. I've learned a lot about wrestling is applicable to real life in the last 2 years since Warrior died. That is something sort of remarkable for a woman like me, raised entirely outside of something I now consider as much my family as anything else. It amazes me how important wrestling is to our lives and how much love and joy it brings us. This is a family business, and once you know it, you love it and you're hooked. It's in your blood, it pounds in your veins. I love it with a loyalty I could not have fathomed. I'd take someone outside for disrespecting it and flip a table Real Housewives style. If you mess with this universe. Besides, no disrespect to Bravo, but table flips originated here, in this family, and we look out for our own. Let's face it, Warriors, we are counting the days until Warrior's little girl Madigan makes her run to the ring. Another legacy like our dear friends Natty and Charlotte. What WWE is opening up to women is truly amazing. It is the next level of feminism. This business has such a history of launching women into avenues of successful business ventures. It's all at once the ultimate training ground, as well as the greatest show on earth. It felt like the truest thing to me when Indiana recently said to me, even if you weren't born into this business, you'd have to love it. She is right. They were lucky enough to be born into this business, and I was blessed enough to have you invite me in. I love it. I'm a fan. I'm grateful. Thank you. I am so honored to be here tonight to induct Joan Lunden, the quintessential warrior woman, as the second recipient of the Warrior Award. It is so fitting to put a spotlight on one as deserving as Miss Lunden after she willingly battled breast cancer, publicly putting a famous face on a disease others have fought against so valiantly. This advocate, broadcaster, mother, author, grandmother, wife, and let's face it, ultimate badass fighter, described herself going into warrior mode to Robin Roberts upon learning she was up against such a savage opponent. Joan Lunden could have quietly waged her war from the comfort and privacy of her own home, but she did not. She showed us how to take the ugliest enemy to the mat and show no mercy or fear, shaving her beautiful hair, revealing an even more beautiful bald head held high on People magazine. Inspiring women to be fierce and to fearlessly fight for one's own life. I can only imagine myself what it must be to those in the throes of battling breast cancer to have a take no prisoners, rocking warrior woman like Miss Lunden to carry the mantle when feeling overwhelmed, tired, sick, and afraid. That's what it is to lead and wear pink, to wage war against an illness and still be able to shine a light. These are the characteristics of one deserving this award, bearing my husband's name. My husband had so much respect for women. He was raised by a single mother and credited her with, that's right, and credited her with instilling the work ethic that caused his success. He had so much affection and respect for Linda McMahon that she was his first and only choice to induct him into the 2014 Hall of Fame class. It would make him so incredibly proud to call Joan Lunden a warrior woman and the second recipient of the Warrior Award for her own fighting spirit. I imagine his, it's a little smaller there, but I imagine his deep voice and wide smile telling her what an inspiration she is to us all, and what example she has been in the face of formidable odds. Warrior always taught me, never stop swinging, never stop scrapping, never stop fighting, and with everything in me, to never stop believing. These are the, thank you. These are the qualities Joan Lunden has exemplified with so much dignity and grace. Her tireless work as an advocate for countless foundations is the next part of the indomitable spirit of a warrior, and that is to reach a hand backwards to show those who follow in the unenviable steps of a breast cancer diagnosis and say, I will work for my sisters and their daughters for a cure. Just like I implored last year on Connor's behalf, let's find a cure. Real warriors wear pink. I am absolutely humbled to have the opportunity tonight to present the second Warrior Award to somebody who has championed women so heroically in the battle of her own life. Joan Lunden chose, in the face of this challenge, to fearlessly turn away from death, to stand tall as a warrior and battle with an always believe mentality. Maddie recently sent me this quote. She is a badass, soft but strong, unapologetic and honest. She's the type of woman you go to war beside, the type of woman you marry. That describes a warrior woman. That describes Joan Lunden. It is my honor tonight to present to you our warrior woman and deserving recipient of the second Warrior Award, Miss Joan Lunden.
everyone. Wow. Who would have ever thought that I would be standing on stage at the WWE Hall of Fame induction ceremony? And wait, and I'm following Snoop Dogg. I gotta tell you, I'm not only honored tonight, I'm really deeply humbled to be receiving the Warrior Award. And I gotta tell you, at my house, when I told my kids I was getting this award from the WWE, all of a sudden, my credibility just like soared. I got some serious WWE fans as kids, let me tell you. Yeah, my son Jack, who I can't rip him away from watching WWE video all day long, said, "Mom, the Ultimate Warrior, he was one of the greatest superstars to ever live." He's got good taste. I'm not a wrestler. I'm not a wrestler like all of these amazing superstars and divas that all the fans come to see week in and week out all over the world. But I gotta tell you, over the last 2 years, I did have to learn to become a warrior, a real fighter who could take a hit and get back up and persevere. In June of 2014, I was diagnosed with a very aggressive form of breast cancer. And I'll tell you, in the first day or two, like other women and men get breast cancer too, and I did have feelings of, sadness and defeat. But that lasted for a very short time. And I decided that I would change my focus from my cancer to the fight against cancer. And I gotta tell you, it changed my life completely. All of a sudden, my life took on a new purpose, and I realized that I was going to be fighting for many other women across this country. And I decided to dedicate myself to giving a voice to all of those women out there who don't have a platform to stand on, and to use any of the connections that I made all those years on Good Morning America and all of the 3 decades of broadcasting to go to Washington, to go to Capitol Hill and bang on senators' doors, not to interview them, but to get them to pass legislation to protect cancer patients and to protect women's health. And I began to lay down the groundwork to build a community on the internet where women could come to find empowerment, education, and support. I must tell you, I was building a community, but this community, the WWE community, they reached out to me early on in my diagnosis, and they showed me such warmth and support. And a year ago, they invited me to be part of Monday Night Raw, and that was so incredible. I gotta tell you, the energy from that audience was palpable. And, and I really felt that that crowd gave me strength that night to keep going. And I wanna tell you, so many of you WWE fans, and believe me, you are in a class all of your own. There are no fans like the WWE fans. And I can't think of another business like the WWE. When I spend time backstage and I watch every superstar or diva come through that control room, the respect and the loyalty that they show to the McMahons and to this business is really extraordinary, and I don't know if you find it in many other businesses in this country. And they just really opened their arms up to me, and I have to tell you, so many of the WWE fans have connected with me over the last 2 years on social media, reaching out, just sending me your well wishes and your prayers and your strength And I want to thank you for that from the bottom of my heart. You really did help to heal me, and you helped light a fire in me to get me into warrior mode. And of course, I must thank the Ultimate Warrior. He was such a symbol of strength and intensity and perseverance for everyone. And of course, his beautiful wife, Dana. I like to refer to Dana as the Ultimate Warrior's real-life tag team partner. And his two beautiful girls, Indiana and Madigan, who are here tonight. And the Ultimate Warrior always said that his most awesome job in life was being daddy to those two girls. And I want to thank my own kids, all 7 of them. That's what I usually get the cheers for. Forget covering 5 presidents, it's having those 7 kids. But I want to thank them, and I want to thank my husband, Jeff, who is my rock. You guys have your rock. He's been my rock. All throughout my battle against cancer, as he always has been in life. And tonight, I think I want us to all remember the words of the Ultimate Warrior. Don't feel sorry for yourself. Get back up and go out there and make it happen, make a difference, and inspire others. I feel fortunate, really, to have been able to use my journey to help other women, and I can only hope that I have offered inspiration to all the other warriors out there who are fighting their battle. Just as the Ultimate Warrior always promised you a good fight in the ring, I promise you that I will keep fighting the good fight to help other women outside of the ring. Thank you, everyone.
You have been an awesome audience here tonight. It's time to take a look at this year's final inductee.
California.
Destined for superstardom.
Without a doubt, the most popular athlete to ever compete on WCW.
This is Sting.
I think his legacy is one of the biggest because he was that good.
I was watching WCW for Sting in 1989. It was the reason I had a blonde-haired flat top.
He was the big superstar. He had the Dayglow face paint. He's yelling. He was definitely the most popular superstar at WCW.
It just caught on. The paint, the charisma.
Sting was my favorite wrestler for a long time.
Literally the coolest thing ever. Like, I had Sting t-shirts.
The crown and jewel for WCW.
Certain people come along at different eras and times, you know, that has it. And he was one of them.
This is
where the big boys play, huh? We are at war. Somebody's got to stop them.
Wait a minute.
What?
And now all of a sudden, he's this Avenger.
A guy like Sting was like your last hope. Okay, man, you're all we got left.
When you thought about the WCW, you thought about Sting first.
Hugely important to their success.
No man in sports makes an entrance like this man.
He had to evolve that way to save WCW. He had to be bad to be good.
Save that hero through that whole period, which was really hard to do. I think he would have succeeded anywhere at any point in time.
Oh my God! The man who's never stepped foot inside WWE's arena before!
Thank you to all the little stingers out there.
Well, by now everyone knows the credentials of our next inductor. But he'll never let me live it down if I don't go through them again right now. So let's give a big woo for the 16-time world champion and the only 2-time WWE Hall of Famer, the Nature Boy, Ric Flair. Woo!
Thank you. Oh, man. My favorite place, and I've been here, fortunate enough to be here so many times, and to see all of you, the kids all dressed up, the greatest fan base in sports, period, the WWE Universe. I just want to say a few things on a personal note. We lost two great Hall of Famers this year. The American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. Michelle, where are you, honey? Is Michelle here, Cody? Is she here? Michelle, please stand up. There she is. Love you, baby. The presentation of the buster of the statue of Dusty just is one of the things the WWE has done. I'm thanking the company. They hate it when you say thank you to them, but there's a time they need to get the recognition for presenting such, making such great TV and remembering and telling the story of the great Dusty Rhodes and the great Roddy Piper. I wish Kitty were here, but let's give it up. Two of the greatest. Thank you. I know you hated Vince. Thank you for all that, ma'am. Linda, Hunter, Stephanie. Two of the best. Now, before I give a shout out to my lovely, beautiful, I guess I'll give the shout out now, my beautiful daughter. Please, the Divas champion. If Snoop can recognize Sasha, stand up, baby, come on. Come on. And by the way, Steve, it's hard to figure out how I found time to wrestle being the founder of Swag, right? Limousine riding. There you are, baby. That's it, guys. Genetically superior. I raised her. From the time she was 4.5 years old, she didn't have a choice, man. I debated on the tennis one time when I saw what kind of money they were making in tennis, but we stuck with volleyball and other stuff. And here she is after almost 4 years in the business, representing not only the WWE, but representing the legacy that I hope that you respect, for a long time, because I've certainly had fun being here. Now, the man called Sting, the icon. You know how the company censors me, right? They make me outline my speech. It's okay. It's okay. Hey, it's better to follow the guidelines than to walk back in there. So, straying off path does not always work around here. So, with that being said, in 1988, and this is as the story goes, Dusty Rhodes said to me, "We're going to do something. We're going to go with the Clash of Champions and go up against WrestleMania." And I said, "You got to be out of your mind, man." Well, we said we're going to do it in Greensboro, which is our town. And he said, "Who do you think we can make this work with?" And I said, I don't remember saying this, but this is the way it's been told. I looked at the new kid that was on fire, man. I mean, this guy, he had it from the day he walked in the TV station. I'm talking about Sting. And man, this guy, I want you to understand that I prided myself. I wasn't the biggest guy. And by the way, Stan Hansen, damn it all, who did Rick Martel ever beat? I never beat you. 9 seconds? Are you kidding me? You never even fell down for me, Stan. What the hell? Steve, I'm not lying. He never went to a knee. Either did Brody. Jeez. And I had to wrestle him for an hour. Wasn't a fair fight. Anyway, we went out there, and I did pride myself on conditioning. And for 55 minutes, he wrestled me. Was supposed to be an hour, but something went down. And that's one of the reasons that the company never went where it was supposed to be at that time. But it was supposed to be an hour, but we went 55 minutes. And as God is my witness, he never took a deep breath. He never wavered. He never flinched. He listened. I'm not a guy that plans it out. I gotta hear you guys. If you're digging it, I'll make it happen, right? And I just knew, and he had it, and God, I mean, the body, the haircut, and he was one of those guys that put money into his wardrobe. He always looked the part, and he had charisma, guys. I mean, I've told him for so many years to go to WWE, and he was like me. I couldn't make up my mind when I was young, because I was loyal to the NWA and that, but God, the kid is so good. I mean, his career speaks for itself. Had so much fun. When Steamboat and I, we had such great chemistry, but Steamboat and I, we always competed with each other. I'm better than you, you're better than me. I mean, we would kill each other for an hour and a half or an hour, whatever it was, but every night. But this guy, I would get in the ring, I'd look at him, and I'd say, "Tonight, you're going to wrestle the world's greatest athlete." And I would crack him up every night. And all we did was press slam, leapfrog, drop down, leapfrog, press slam, upside down, run down the apron, get clothesline, slam off the top, just like this, and that was it. And he'd say to me, he'd say, "Are we ever going to change that up?" I said, "Why would you change it up? Hell, just beat in their chest a little more, but they're digging it." Hey, we're way past a headlock takeover, brother. And man, it worked, and he just was a fan. I mean, I trusted him, and he could do anything with me, and he threw me around, and my offense, right? That's why I always liked being a bad guy. I have no offense. It was, I got a chop, a woo, and a. That's it. But yeah, not really offensive gifted. One drop kick in my career, I didn't even get to the knees. So, but I could take bumps. So anyway, and I could talk, thank God. But anyway, we got a 7.7 rating. That was big time TV back then. But thank God we didn't do anything to damage WrestleMania. Because that operation down south, as much as I loved it, just wasn't going to make it for one reason or another. And now he's like that going, thank God I did come up here, you know. But what comes to mind with me with this guy is last year, you know, here he is wrestling Hunter. And, you know, when you wrestle Hunter, and I'm not saying it because it's here, he's my best friend, that's not a secret to anybody, you got to be ready to go. Same would apply to Shawn Michaels. I mean, my WrestleMania 24, Shawn Michaels carried me for 30 minutes, guys. I just stood there. I mean, I'm going to give it due. I want to tell you that I was Ric Flair, and I was in body and mind, but Shawn Michaels carried me for 30 minutes to 24, and he told me, which I was a little offended by at first. He said, "Just keep your mouth shut tonight. Listen to me." Then he looked at me and he goes, "Let's do it." I started crying walking out the hallway. So, anyway, I just can't say enough. You know, Sting, Ricky Steamboat, and Dusty. I spent 3 decades wrestling 3 guys. I think there were 3 of the greatest rivalries in the history of the business. He knew, and he didn't even ask, he just knew right off the sacrifices you have to make in your personal life to be successful back then. I was telling Bubba, are you here today, Bubba? Oh yeah, you inducted somebody. He didn't know, he lived up here, right? He didn't know that on holidays, especially Easter and Christmas, we wrestled twice. Once in the afternoon and once at night. And we did it by, you know, when they got the airplane going and they got me back on it after crashing on one, they figured I could work twice and for an hour twice, you know. So holidays weren't what they were, and a lot of guys didn't like that, you know. It's it is what it was. And down south, the holidays were the paydays, and that's what we did. And he sacrificed, and he got on that plane, and he went up and down the road. And I'll tell you a funny story, because Steamboat's sitting right there. I wrestled Ricky Steamboat 1978, and we sell out every arena Christmas week. It was the biggest time, twice on Christmas Day and all the way to New Year's Eve. And then New Year's next day, sold out, 2 shots each day, right? 1978, I get a check for $8,200. Man. And George Scott calls me and says, "Do you hear about Steamboat?" I said, "What?" He said, "He's going to quit. He told me he's working too hard." I said, whoa. I called Ricky Steamboat. I said, "Let me tell you, pal, I don't know who you think you're talking to. You ain't quitting now, man. You're too far in. You figure out where you're going to tell your wife you're going to work tomorrow." Not that worked for either one of us. We're 2 of the greatest, we're both 0 for 4. Tell it like it is. Hey, Hayes was smart, he's 0 for 2. So anyway, I can't say enough about Sting or Steve Borden, the Crow. He was the franchise. He meant so much to the company, and even taking a year off and never being in the ring when they developed the character. When he came back down, I think it was the biggest pay-per-view in the history of the company. And I think the world of him as a person. I can't say enough. He's right there with, you know, anybody that's close to me. I didn't see him for 10 years, but the minute we saw each other, it was the same chemistry and same love and same amount of respect. So they want me to wrap this up. Everybody's back there saying, "Nate, cut it," right? None of that stuff. So I'm going to ease this up. I'm just going to say, ladies and gentlemen, one of the greatest of all time, one of the nicest people. He and Steamboat were just too damn nice to be wrestlers. I don't know what the hell. But he never said a bad word to anybody. They just got in the ring and worked and had a good time. But just a wonderful guy and a great friend. And I'm so glad that he finally had the opportunity to come here, because this is the place to be. And going back to what I was going to say about Hunter, I switched subjects. Last year, wrestling Hunter, which is not easy, and then they sent the troops in. That's the same thing he gave me when we went 55 minutes. Because I thought to myself, I'm watching this, say, brother, he's going to be huffing and puffing. But he hung in there, didn't he, Hunter? Here comes Kevin, here comes Scott, here comes Sean. I said, no way he's going to make this. Because, guys, you can run on a treadmill all day long. It's not like getting in the ring. Sorry. And he did, man. And Steve was right there and didn't blink an eye. And so proud of him. And, of course, Hunter made his night and rocked his world, and as he does for so many people. Thank you. And also, one more thing. He also inspired me to get in the fitness business. And then at the same time, I procrastinated a little bit, so I had to call Linda McMahon, who called Pete Gromkowski and said, make it happen. 10 gold gyms later. You think I forgot about that, Linda? Thank you so much. 1992. So this is a great time for all of us, guys. Thank you. Thank you so much for everything. God bless you all. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, the class of 2016, it is my honor to induct the legendary Sting, the icon.
Wow. Man, Rick left his notes that, of course, he does not use. And he does wing it. He wings everything. I love you too. You know something? It was about a year ago that I made my debut right here in this building on Monday Night Raw. It's amazing that I'm here to begin with, because the amazing thing about me, some of you know this, is I didn't know anything about pro wrestling into my 20s when I got into this thing, until I went to the sports arena one time and saw Big John Studd, Andre the Giant, Hulk Hogan, the British Bulldogs, the Iron Sheik, and to coin that 80s phrase, it was pandemonium. It was then that I decided that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a pro wrestler. And so Jim Hellwig, many of you guys know him as the Ultimate Warrior. Jim Hellwig and we got in my 83 T-Bird and we left California in Thanksgiving week. And he was 285 pounds, I was 260 pounds. I was jacked, but I felt like a little kid compared to him. He talked about food nonstop. On the drive there, he was talking about protein and how he was going to get that protein in, and he was talking about, I'm a West Coast guy, and he's talking about Waffle House. In California, at the time, I didn't know what Waffle House was. I said, what is Waffle House? He says, oh, scattered, covered, and smothered. And he'd ordered the same thing every single time. It would be either 2 or 4 pecan waffles with 4 eggs over easy on top of the waffles, and take a whole bottle of syrup and go like this, ham and cheese omelet, and 2 grilled chicken breasts on the side. Yeah. Humble beginnings. That 83 T-Bird was our address. We slept in the car from time to time because we weren't making any money at all, driving up and down the roads. That led to a moment, you know, me not being a second-generation wrestler. I didn't have an uncle, a father. I didn't have a brother, somebody else in this business to help me get into this business. So it was then that right near here in Arlington, Texas, I was renting a home at the time and trying to make it in this business, and I felt like I was just this close. So I made my deal with God, and even though I didn't know God, I prayed to him and I said, God, if you'll help me make it in this business, I promise you that I'll give back. Be careful what you pray for, because you just might get it. I got some good for sure, but some not so good as well. Within 12 months, I paid off all my debt. I was $26,000 in debt I borrowed from everybody to try to make it in this business. I bought my first car. I bought my first house. All of a sudden, I was having main event matches against the Nature Boy, Ric Flair. So many things I would have never imagined. Winning the world title in 1990, Great American Bash against Ric Flair for the very first time. You know, I think I heard him say 16-time world champion. I think I was 17, Rick. I might have one-upped you there. I don't know how many times I won that thing. I never would have guessed that I would have traveled all over the world and wrestled in so many countries. I had at one time over 400 companies making a variety of products with my likeness on it. You know, lunch bags, sleeping bags, pillows, action figures. Did anyone ever get a Sting air freshener by chance? They made them, Sting air fresheners. I never thought that I would rappel out of a helicopter. We just saw the video there. Panama City, what a night that was. Panama City and Cleveland. That was the night Vince said, the only way to beat a billionaire is to become one. And I goozled him. Talking about Ted Turner. I had no idea in those humble beginnings that I would have great names and a lot of wrestlers, wannabe wrestlers too, who would say, you know what, I got into this business because of you. Seth Rollins, the night... You remember September 20th, Night of Champions. I'm walking away with the thing, you know, on my neck like this, and they got me in the ambulance, and Seth comes in, and he's like, Sting, are you okay? I'm so sorry, I don't know what happened. And they're trying to drive me away. They're saying, Seth, you gotta let him go. We gotta take him to the hospital for MRIs. Sting, I was you for Halloween. And he had a shooting look on his face, too. I know a lot of you out there probably dressed up as me as Halloween. You know, wrestling Rick and doing some of those great things, it was awesome, but I gotta tell you, one of the biggest highlights of my whole career was teaming up with RoboCop. Leon, where are you? What about White Castle of Fear? You know, that WWE Network now, I mean, there's so much material on me out there. It's unbelievable. Here's a good one for you. Is Kevin still here? Kevin Nash. I'm at the peak of my career. Stoic Sting, stone-faced Sting, okay? You don't, it's like, NWO hits the ring, all kinds of bodies flying all over the place, sweat, everything, just chaos everywhere. Kevin Nash is next to me. He goes down, I go down. I look over at Kevin. Kevin, are you okay? Yeah, you okay? I go, yeah. So I'm on my left side like this, and this big arm, this big leg comes right over the top of me, and I hear this voice go, Sting, do you mind if I just spoon with you for a minute? And that's a shoot as well. You know what? There's a lot of stuff that happens behind the scenes in this business. That's where the ratings are. That's where the money is, too. I never thought that I would see my character change so many times. You know, remember the Surfer Sting, right? Blonde, flat top, haircut. That was the humble beginnings right there. It turned into Crow Sting. Oh, Kevin and Scott, Wolfpack Sting. Should I say Joker Sting? All right. I had a lot of fun doing Joker. You know what? I was, it's kind of funny. I was kind of like a chameleon in this business over the years, just kind of changing my characters as the years went by. And it is symbolic because really, in my personal life, I was kind of a chameleon as well. I would put this hat on with this group and this hat on over there. And I found out, you know, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. And that's exactly what I did. I fell, and I fell hard. You guys heard all kinds of stuff about me way back when. 1998, right at the peak of my career. I made some bad choices behind the scenes there. It left me with some pretty severe consequences. And although you saw the Sting persona, you know, at its peak, rappelling out of helicopters and all that, my personal life was crumbling. Sting, with all the power and the money and everything else, everything was slipping through my fingers at the time. Went through that really dark period until August of 1998, when I got pinned to the mat by God. He gave me another chance. I surrendered my life to Him, and I made Him first. I got my priorities right. Behind the scenes, I slowly began to put together all the pieces of my life with God's help, still walking through those curtains to entertain all of you and still rappelling out of the ceilings and doing all my stuff as good as I could. And I got to tell you, since then, I've never looked back. My life has been put back in order, and I am blessed beyond measure to be here with all of you, my family, many of them, my mom and dad, my wife, my nieces and nephews, everybody, they're all here. And I'm right here in the middle of the WWE universe. It's an awesome feeling. I've got bragging rights because I know there's so many people that dream, so many wrestlers that dream, and they dream about performing at WrestleMania. And I got bragging rights because I can say that I did that. And I can say that I did that against a great opponent like Triple H. An awesome night. And I can say that 30 years later, after those humble beginnings, I'm here with all my friends surrounding me, my family, and I am now officially a WWE Hall of Famer. So, I just want to say thank you to some people, and the very first one I want to start with is the one I started my career with, Jim Hellwig, the Ultimate Warrior. The reason why I want to thank him is because, man, that guy was very intense, and man, he challenged me. He pushed me hard, and if he hadn't have done that, I don't think I'd be here right now. I really do love all you guys. I really love all of you. It's unbelievable. I want to give a special I want to give a special shout out to Bryce Yang, 2K Productions, for giving me all the encouraging words at just the right time over the last year. Jeff Cavalier, my personal trainer right out of Connecticut, he collaborated along with my wife, who is also a trainer, and together both of them helped me get ready for my match at WrestleMania and against Seth Rollins at Night of Champions. I want to thank Rossi, Jim Ross, for giving me some inside scoop at the right time. And believe it or not, I want to thank Michael Hayes. Michael Hayes, even way back when I first started, Michael Hayes actually helped me out and took me under his wing. Terry Gordy and Buddy and all of them, Jimmy, they were always good to me on the road. And he helped me out a lot this last 12 months. I also want to thank Road Dogg. As a matter of fact, Road Dogg, man, I got to give you something real, stand up. You know what? You know why? You guys, you need to know this. It was because of Road Dogg. He reminded me not to forget my Life Alert necklace before I wrestled Seth. And thank God he reminded me. You know, help, I've fallen and I can't get up. Ric Flair, I gotta thank Ric Flair, the Nature Boy. Now, Rick put me under his wing, and man, he had the choice. He didn't have to make me, but man, he chose to make me, and I gotta thank him because he's the one who put me on the map to begin with. I wanna thank my mom and dad. Mom and dad, thank you. Thank you so much. You taught me great work ethic. It's because of what they taught me growing up that made me stick it out and work through injuries and everything else all these years to entertain all you guys. They love me even when I didn't deserve it. Thank you, Mom and Dad.
You're welcome.
I've got my family here. I've got my brothers, my sisters, in-laws, my nieces and my nephews, my brother Jeff, who's my pastor. Where is he? He's somewhere in here. You don't have to stand up, don't worry. But without all your prayers, I'm telling you, I wouldn't be here for that either. I mean, unless you did that. My kids, Garrett, Stephen, Gracie, Jessica, and Ryan, who's like my son. These have all been through so much adversity, you know, growing up in a wrestling home. And I'm so proud of each and every one of them for the young men and women that they are becoming. I thank God for my kids. I love all of you so much. Let me see your face, Gracie. I can't see your face. There you are. Okay. And talk about second chances. You know, God gave me a second chance. I was remarried. I'm going to have my 1-year anniversary April 11th with my wife, Sabina. And Sabina, yes, she's also my trainer, and without your love and your support and your prayers, this last 12 months definitely would not have happened. Thank you, and I love you. And I want to thank the fans. No. Let me tell you something. Honestly, the thank you, I mean it. The thank you goes to you. And I'm gonna say this. It's been said so many times. I don't say these words lightly at all. But without you, there wouldn't be a Sting. There wouldn't be a Stone Cold. There wouldn't be a Bruno. There wouldn't be any of us here. And thank God for you, all of you. I've enjoyed entertaining all these years. You've heard me say it before, you've heard me say it for years, that the only thing that is for sure about Sting is nothing is for sure. Until now. On this very night, at this very moment, I'm going to finish my wrestling career under the WWE umbrella, and I'm so proud of that. I am officially going to retire tonight. I just want you to know this isn't goodbye, it's just see you later.